onto it on the left-hand side. Massive roar goes up because the main man's on the ball. Ricardo closes him down. Zaha's cross comes off Ricardo and back to him. Zaha trying to work a pass back to Van Aanholt on the edge of the box. Tackled though. Van Aanholt has it again, but Palace have gone 20 yards back down the field, still inside the Leicester half on the left-hand side. Good ball from Zaha. MacArthur couldn't quite take it in his stride. Perez with a flick header away. A lot of Palace pressure at the moment. Ball is pinging around all over the place, and eventually Gary Cahill has it for Crystal Palace, but he's inside his own half. Into the last 20 minutes we go. Crystal Palace substitution coming shortly. Palace 0, Leicester 1 on BBC Radio 5 Live. Cahill, little chip pass, that was clever, to Van Aanholt, who let it run to Zaha. Plays it back to Schlupp. Zaha's drifting infield. Schlupp's taking a long time. Gives it to MacArthur. It was a good ball. Ayew on the run. Soyuncu sticks with him. Ayew gets there first, tries to hold him off, and with his right foot just works it back to Zaha. 25 yards out. Curling pass from Zaha into that penalty area. Joel Ward onto his left foot, hits the shot, bobbling through to Kasper Schmeichel it goes, and he makes a pretty comfortable save. Karen Carney.
You see Maddison there telling Schmeichel slow it down because Palace have got all the momentum. You see the crowds getting behind them, but the ball was switched out there. Zaha finding Ward, who comes in onto his weaker foot, has a shot, but it was just comfortable for Schmeichel. But as I said, it was a bit momentum there for Palace, and now Leicester just trying to slow it down.
Crystal Palace's little number 7, Max Meyer, getting ready to go. Hands on hips. Palace 0, Leicester 1. Leicester have it inside their own half. They work it to Johnny Evans. Palace then just waiting to make the change when the ball next goes ahead of our next commentary. Alan Green and Pat Nevin will bring you Everton against Tottenham, which, as Alan said remarkably, is 17th against 13th in the current Premier League standings. Leicester, though, holding on to the ball at the moment. Chilwell back to Soyuncu. Cross to Johnny Evans as Max Meyer continues to warm up. And the impetus here is with Palace. The onus is on them. They've got to go and try and win the ball because they're trailing in this game. Ricardo towards Perez. Palace do now have it. Milivojevic tries to launch an attack from deep with his left foot. Poor pass from him to Zaha. He had 2 goes there at getting the ball to Zaha, and he couldn't quite do it. Now Ricardo with the outside of his right foot finds Tielemans. Good run from Chilwell on the left-hand side. He's seen it. Chilwell brings the ball down. Good first touch. Fires it back at Barnes. Reaches Ndidi. What a hit! Just wide from Wilfred Ndidi. It is behind for the Palace goal kick. Team news from Goodison Park. Here's Alan Green.
Well, the suspicion was proved correct. Kane didn't travel. Kane is injured, we think, with an ankle problem. Lucas Moura comes into the Tottenham starting 11. Ndombele replaces Winks in midfield, and Davis is in for the suspended Rose. 2 alterations from Everton's last league lineup. Mina, back from injury, replaces Keane in defence, and Delp is in for the injured Bernard.
Thank you, Alan. Commentary from 4:30 from Goodison Park. Meyer on for Kouyaté. Leicester City are going to make a change as well. Ayoze Perez is going to be replaced by Demarai Gray. I think I'm right in saying, Karen, your fantasy team is called No Kane, No Gain.
Oh, no.
That is quite literally the case this afternoon for fantasy managers who have Harry Kane in their teams, not playing.
And he was my captain as well.
Oh, Karen, who was your vice captain? Because they will then become your captain, you see. So if you've chosen a good vice captain,
all my faith was in Harry Kane.
You could be okay. There we go. Fantasy 606, the podcast with Chris Sutton, myself and Statman Dave, who I can tell you has had a very, very good weekend with his fantasy team. Available via the BBC Sounds app. It comes out every Thursday. Palace 0, Leicester 1. Just over 15 minutes to play, but actually more importantly for Tottenham, no Harry Kane at Goodison Park is a massive, massive blow for them.
As the subs just come on for Palace, you've seen Zaha now go to the other side and Max Meyer come on.
Got you.
Said they needed a bit more dynamic stuff down the side to try and get this equaliser. That's what they've done. Took Kouyaté off and put Max Meyer on.
Long floated free kick into the penalty area. Soyuncu up high to win the header. Demarai Gray is the Leicester sub who gets his first touch. Clears with his left foot. Headed forward by Ward. Soyuncu everywhere for Leicester in the air. This is going to be his 3rd header in a row. And again, a really powerful one as he throws his head towards it. Harvey Barnes has lost it. No foul on him. Here's Zaha on the dribble into the box, trying to work it onto that left foot. Zaha shoots. Didn't quite catch it. Johnny Evans with the block, and then Ayew jumps into Evans. That has to be a free kick to Leicester, and it is. Ayew's challenging for the ball, he's saying, but he piled into Johnny Evans. Evans won the header cleanly. Leicester get the free kick. Let's go back to the... we're not probably not going to see it again, Ken. You felt that should have been a penalty, do you, for the block by Chua? Because the only thing I'd say about it in the way they're looking at these handballs this season is the shot comes at him, he closes his arms sort of together, almost puts them up in a praying motion in front of his body, and they are narrow, but it very clearly, I mean, it could have hit his chest, but it hits his arms because his arms are in front of his chest. Yeah,
my initial thought was penalty. Like you said, his hands are close to his body. It's come at him with a lot of pace. My initial thought was penalty because he's hit his hand.
Yeah.
But I guess there's not a lot he really could have done. His hands were kind of already in that position, so I can see why.
Palace as this clock continues to tick down towards full time. Just over 10 minutes to play. Lovely touch from Meyer in the middle of the park to McCarthy, caught by Soyuncu. That's going to be another yellow card. Soyuncu in vain points at the ball and says he won it. I don't think so.
Both centre-backs now on a yellow card.
Yeah,
it was a late tackle. Ball into, just flipped round the corner. Soyuncu's just late.
Oh, he's missed it by a mile.
McCarthy got there first and smashed his ankles. Nasty little tackle, definite yellow card.
Yeah. Free kick then Palace inside the centre circle, just inside the Leicester half. Milivojevic chips it forward right down the middle, aimed at Benteke, obviously wins the header, nods it down. Soyuncu hooks it, I thought, behind, but Chilwell's there to stop it from going out for a corner, gets a header on it, and his header does go out for the corner into the last 10 minutes plus added time.
Benteke just adds that physicality up top. They can hit him as a big target man.
Palace, this clock
So Evans and Sancho
continues to tick down towards full time. Just over 10 minutes to play. Lovely touch from Meyer in the middle of the park to McCarthy. Caught by Soyuncu. That's going to be another yellow card. Soyuncu in vain points at the ball and says he's won it. Indeed, I don't think so. In there anyway.
Both centre backs now on a yellow card.
Yeah. But if you get the
It was a late tackle.
He's unstoppable.
Ball into, exactly. It's flicked round the corner. Soyuncu just late delivery.
Oh, he's missed it by a mile.
For Crystal Palace. Arthur got there first and he got smashed his ankle as a delivery. Nasty little tackle, definite yellow card.
Yeah. Free kick then Palace inside the centre circle, just inside the Leicester half. Milivojevic chips it forward right down the middle, aimed at Benteke, obviously wins the header, nods it down. Soyuncu hooks it, I thought, behind, but Chilwell's there to stop it from going out for a corner, gets a header on it, and his header does go out for the corner into the last 10 minutes plus added time.
Benteke just adds that physicality up top. They can hit him as a big target man.
Palace, this clock
So Evans and Sancho
continues to tick down towards full time. Just over 10 minutes to play. Lovely touch from Meyer in the middle of the park to McCarthy. Caught by Soyuncu. That's going to be another yellow card. Soyuncu in vain points at the ball and says he's won it. Indeed, I don't think so. In there anyway.
Both centre backs now on a yellow card.
Yeah. But if you get the
It was a late tackle.
he's unstoppable.
Ball into, exactly. It's flicked round the corner. Soyuncu just late delivery.
Oh, he's missed it by a mile.
For Crystal Palace. Arthur got there first and he got smashed his ankle as a nasty little tackle, definite yellow card.
Yeah. Free kick then Palace inside the centre circle, just inside the Leicester half. Milivojevic chips it forward right down the middle, aimed at Benteke, obviously wins the header, nods it down. Soyuncu hooks it, I thought, behind, but Chilwell's there to stop it from going out for a corner, gets a header on it, and his header does go out for the corner into the last 10 minutes plus added time.
Benteke just adds that physicality up top. They can hit him as a big target man.
Palace, this clock
So Evans and Sancho
continues to tick down towards full time. Circle just inside the Leicester half. Milivojevic chips it forward right down the middle, aimed at Benteke, obviously wins the header, nods it down. Soyuncu hooks it, I thought, behind, but Chilwell's there to stop it from going out for a corner, gets a header on it, and his header does go out for the corner into the last 10 minutes plus added time.
Benteke just adds that physicality up top. They can hit him as a big target man.
Palace, this clock continues to tick down towards full time. Circle just inside the Leicester half. Milivojevic chips it forward right down the middle, aimed at Benteke, obviously wins the header, nods it down. Soyuncu hooks it, I thought, behind, but Chilwell's there to stop it from going out for a corner, gets a header on it, and his header does go out for the
to the regular number 9. As Rangers come forward and Davis just with a shot that goes just past, it's still scoreless here between Rangers and Hearts.
Thank you, Roddy. Winners meet Celtic in the final. 5-2 winners over Hibs yesterday. Harvey Barnes has come off. Wes Morgan has come on. And I think it's a pretty good guess.
He's took Barnes up and gone, look, we'll allow them to have the wide areas, because if you give them the wide areas, we know they're going to cross it in. And if you want to try and beat go on, we'll give you a little bit more width, but we'll...
Maddison's free kick towards Johnny Evans. Bit too high for him. Evans climbed, got a head on it. He could only loop it up in the air. Guaita catches it with both hands, and Johnny Evans is hurrying back to his defensive position. But Wes Morgan's back there, so is Soyuncu. Evans back in line as well. Palace have it inside their own half. And my stopwatch tells me we're into the 85th minute of the game, but I think there's a really good chunk of added time to come here, because that was another couple of minutes we had there for the treatment to Gary Cahill's wound. You could see the red trickle of blood coming down his forehead. So they've dealt with that. Palace 0, Leicester 1. James Maddison's mucking around here for Leicester, trying to slow the game down. He's moved that ball back a yard. He's not getting out of the way. And he could be talking himself into a yellow card. Paul Tierney's marched him back and said none of that sunshine. Free kick for Leicester. But he did slow it down, Maddison. Milivojevic's delivery in. Benteke trying to get on the end of it. Got a touch on it, but the header just gently loops into the arms of Wes Morgan. And Benteke was up against Wes Morgan.
Yeah, you see Morgan and Johnny Evans high-fiving each other there, because they know they're doing their job. They've got to look after Benteke, because he's a threat on set plays.
Leicester leading 1-0. Soyuncu on the ball. Zaha trying to take it off him. Leicester working it down the left-hand side. Chilwell's got Demarai Gray ahead of him. He's pulled Tompkins out wide with him here. Gray plays it back to Maddison. Ricardo is calling for it on the right-hand side. Tielemans has it in the middle of the Palace half. Goes wide left again to Gray. Up that touchline to Chilwell. Back to Gray. And Ndidi's in space in the middle. And Ndidi looks up, sees Maddison. Maddison's got Ricardo to his right. He's going to use him. So Leicester keeping the ball here, keeping it away from Palace. Ricardo took his eye off the ball. He's giving it away. And here's Max Meyer inside his own half. Ricardo desperately trying to win it back. Played forward to Benteke. Benteke looking for an option. Pass intercepted by Ndidi. Runs to Cahill. Cahill's got to be careful here because Vardy's got Guaita covered. Not quite. He got it back to Guaita. Cleared it first time. Tielemans tried to control it. Got away from it. Maddison not strong enough to knock Zaha off the ball. Good tackle by Ndidi. Tielemans through to Vardy. One-on-one with Tompkins. Going to try and take him on the outside. Good challenge. James Tompkins stretches out the right leg and gets the ball cleanly and makes the tackle.
It's a magnificent tackle because if he gets that wrong, it's a penalty. You know, again, giving it away in the wrong area, Palace. Leicester trying to find Jamie Vardy as quick as possible. He's 1v1 and the tackle though was just exquisite. He's just got the ball, hooked it away. Great defending.
42 minutes of the second half are up. Leicester closing in on yet another Premier League win, closing in on third spot in the table, going back above Chelsea on goal difference, with plenty of added time to come. Good skill from Tielemans to skip away from Milivojevic. All of this being played inside the Palace half. Leicester have given it away. They get it back though, very easily and cheaply. Here's Maddison across to Chilwell. Chilwell down the line to Tielemans. Now Maddison finds Tielemans again on the left, threads his pass in. Vardy's touch, brilliant to Gray, back to Vardy. Vardy, first time, what a goal! What a goal from Leicester City. Brilliantly worked to kill off the game, and Jamie Vardy, with a quite ludicrous celebration in front of the Crystal Palace fans, gets his 10th goal of the season and gives Leicester another 3 points. He went skipping along the touchline there to celebrate the goal. I think he was flapping his arms like an eagle. Crystal Palace 0, Leicester 2. They've beaten the Eagles.
You have to give a lot of credit to Demarai Gray here. It's played out to the left-hand side. The ball's whipped in to Demarai Gray and he just leaves it. He dummies it to Jamie Vardy, who gives it back to Gray and then gives it back to Vardy. The movement, the connection between both of them in that 18-yard box, that pass, and then the left foot finish from Vardy. He just kept it low, and you watch his goal tonight. And it's just a little over. His goal tonight. It's just a little over. Each other. 1-2. Clinical finishing. Clinical finishing. They're so hard to defend against Leicester. What do you do? You know, that is a fantastic goal.
Jamie Vardy, 10 goals for the season, 19 goals in 21 games under Brendan Rodgers. Goal at Hampden Park as well, ready for side.
Injury time here in the first half, and Rangers have taken the lead. A colossal blunder by the Hearts defence. They were being attacked on the flank by Alfredo Morelos. He put a ball in towards the 6-yard line, and the back line of Hearts simply allowed Philip Helander to step away from them and turn the ball into the net. As Rangers 1, Hearts 0.
So as it stands, that is heading towards a Rangers-Celtic League Cup final. Celtic already through to that final. Chilwell trying to make ground down the left-hand side. He claimed he was blocked off as he made his run. Paul Tierney doesn't agree. Heading towards added time. We think Leicester have sewn this up. Dennis Pratt is waiting to come on for them as well. Soyuncu and Vardy with the goals. And Leicester closing it out, leading Crystal Palace by 2-0. Another very, very impressive outing. And Ndidi caught on the ankle by Benteke. Free kick for Leicester. Another point I'll make about Jamie Vardy as well, Karen. He always takes a lot of stick from opposition fans because of what blew up on social media between his wife and Colleen Rooney.
I think that's what happened?
I think that has increased in the last few weeks. I think he's played better. I think he genuinely responds to that sort of derision and Mickey take and dislike of him. He loves it.
He's a siege mentality type of player, and he's come through the lower ranks, and he's had to kind of, I think that's where he's got it from, when he's come through the lower leagues and actually got his way to the top level now. He thrives on that. But I was going back to thinking at the substitutions for Leicester, the squad that they've got, to bring on Wes Morgan, to bring on Demarai Gray, both won the Premier League, both experienced players.
Yes.
Look at the squad that they've got.
Dennis Pratt who was signed this summer for £18 million, Belgian international from Sampdoria, another one.
They can change formation, they're adaptable.
Hamza Chowdhury's not involved today, another youngster coming through the ranks. You're absolutely right, they are very, very strong. And Karen's also right, you've got to watch that goal on Match of the Day tonight, BBC One at 10:30. Chilwell's in, could be another one. Chilwell, oh, it's come back off the post. Almost 2 goals in 2 games for the Leicester left back. Long floated ball, found him on the left-hand side. First touch was perfect. Jamie Vardy actually was looking for a cross in the middle. Chilwell went for goal, and the ball came pinging back off the inside of the post, and it was very nearly 3-0. Their next game, Leicester, they've got Arsenal coming to them. Then you'd argue a relatively nice run of fixtures for them in the Premier League as we head towards the Christmas fixtures. Just before Boxing Day, they go to Manchester City. They host Liverpool on Boxing Day. I'm really looking forward already, Karen, to seeing Liverpool and Manchester City against this Leicester team, because they are going to give them a real run for their money, I think. Vardy's trying to get onto another one through the middle, and Tompkins has headed the ball away. Pratt too strong in the challenge on Schlupp. Free kick Palace.
Well, you spoke about the Arsenal game. I'm thinking Jamie Vardy will have a field day against Arsenal, because as soon as Arsenal give the ball away, they're so slow. I watched them last week. They're so slow to get back into shape, and if they play as quickly as they do on the counter-attack, Jamie Vardy and the other front players for Leicester will have so much joy.
6 minutes of added time, by the way. We were right about that. We've already played 2 of them. I don't think the result of the game is any doubt here. Palace 0, Leicester 2. Leicester again will be desperate to keep another clean sheet, as they did in the thumping 9-0 win at the St Mary's Stadium just over a week again. They are the real deal. And Crystal Palace have not played poorly this afternoon.
I was thinking they'd be so disappointed. They played really well first half. They were the better team. Were organised, made it really difficult.
Here they come again, Leicester on the counter. No, Damari Gray's got the pass wrong. He was looking for Vardy.
But the best teams just know how to get a win even when they're not playing well. And Leicester haven't played well today, but they've still found a way. Max
Meyer tackle just outside the Leicester penalty area. Ball is cleared. Gray will chase. Cahill beats him to it, nods it forward to Schlupp. Damari Gray to Tielemans and Didi. I mean, Leicester quite happy to play the game out, but with the pace of Vardy up top, he's ready to go. He's looking for more goals. Gary Cahill on the ball, just inside his own penalty area. Terrible pass from Joel Ward. He's giving it straight to Dennis Pratt. Damari Gray wants it. Pratt keeps it, takes it wide to the right-hand side. We've played 3.5 minutes of the additional 6, and Pratt is eventually tackled, and the ball goes out for a Leicester throw on the right. Table as it stands, Liverpool 31 points, Manchester City 25. Full commentary on 5 Live next Sunday, 4:30 kick-off at Anfield between those top 2. Then you've got Leicester on 23, Chelsea on 23, and they've just separated themselves a little from the rest, because there's 6 points now between Chelsea in 4th and Arsenal in 5th. And actually, you have to say, they are the 4 standout teams in the Premier League this season, I think, so far. Liverpool, Manchester City, a step apart. Chelsea and Leicester have been excellent so far this season and deserve to be where they are.
Absolutely, and they're just both a joy to watch.
Yeah.
They're both just so enjoyable to watch, and even Leicester haven't been great today, but they're still really, really good to watch.
Soyuncu nods it back to his goalkeeper Kasper Schmeichel. Brendan Rodgers applauds that. 90 seconds to play. The drums continue to beat at Selhurst Park as Johnny Evans plays the ball forward. Vardy's going to be able to get on the end of that. 50-50 with Van Arnholt. Van Arnholt wins it. Ball is played infield to Gary Cahill. Closed down by Damari Gray. Got to be careful. Vardy's there. Gray's there. Cahill gets his pass away just in time. And Tompkins plays it out to the right to Joel Ward. First goal came from Soyuncu. Roy Hodgson will be annoyed about that, because Soyuncu unmarked 8 yards from goal from a set piece. Second goal, though, was brilliant. Palace were just sliced apart, and the interplay between Damari Gray and Jamie Vardy, a joy to behold. Soyuncu playing out from the back with his right foot, gets that wrong, knocks it straight out of play for a Palace throw on the right.
I think you just hit the nail on the head there. How organised and how much time they must spend on the training ground trying to be organised, Crystal Palace, and then to give away a goal off a set play where no one's picking him up.
Here they come late in the game. Van Aanholt on the edge of the box. Johnny Evans is there to block. Dennis Pratt has lost it. Leicester just happy to clear up to the halfway line towards Vardy. 20 seconds to go. Leicester leading 2-0. Joel Ward's cross takes a little deflection. Schmeichel comes. Almost a miscommunication between him and Ricardo, and it turned into an awkward one for Schmeichel. He had to dive forward to catch it on the half volley, and he's just hurt his knee ever so slightly as he came out to get it. He's not going to stop the game though, because I think the next time the ball goes up in the air, the full-time whistle will blow. Yes, it will. Another very impressive win for Brendan Rodgers and Leicester City. Back to third in the Premier League table. 2 goals in the second half. The set-piece one from Chala Soyuncu, his first goal for the club. And just a little bit of magic, Karen Carney for the second goal. Gray and Vardy, the quickest little 1-2, the understanding and the interplay, and Vardy buried it for his 10th goal of the season. They are a really, really good football team, Leicester.
Oh, unbelievable. You just need to watch that goal tonight at Match of the Day. It was really, really special, and especially because Demarai Gray hasn't played a lot of football, so the connection between both him and Vardy is just unbelievable. But a great performance from Leicester. Did they play well? No, but they found a way, and I feel a little bit sorry for Crystal Palace, but they haven't got that 9, they haven't got the goal scorer, and that will be their Achilles heel. Until they find that player, they're always going to be in that struggling phase. But it wasn't a bad performance from them.
No, Crystal Palace weren't poor, Leicester were just too good. Palace 0, Leicester 2.
So the top of the table looks like this. Liverpool in first on 31 points. Manchester City second on 25, ahead of that massive game on Premier League Sunday next weekend. Then Leicester City third on 23 points. That defeat for Crystal Palace leaves them 9th on 15 points, just 2 though behind Arsenal in 5th. Karen Carney, it says a lot about Leicester City. They might not have been at their brilliant best, but they've still become the only team other than Manchester City to win at Selhurst Park since March.
Yeah, they were, like you said, they weren't great today, but they just find a way. And I know I keep going on about it, but they've just got everything about a team. If you want a team, they've got everything. They've got a great goalkeeper, solid defence, midfield. They've got goals in Jamie Vardy. If you want to play counter-attacking, they've got the pace. If you want to be possessive, they can play. And you saw today when it wasn't going right for them, put the ball in the box and they'll score from a set play.
And the point you made as well, Karen, the strength on the bench, Steve. So Wes Morgan, when they need to shore it up at the end and deal with Benteke, on he comes. Demarai Gray, who offers them, real invention as pace as well to join that front three. Chowdhury, I said, not involved today. Mark Albright, former Premier League winner. They are so well set up. They've got a really good mix of experience and youth, and even they changed formation at the end to just go, you know what, Benteke's come on, we're going to nullify that, we're going to change to a back three. It actually worked in their favour, but they're adaptable, and their manager is top drawer. I really rate him and what he's doing at Leicester. And there's a feeling towards this club. I watched them at home when they played Spurs, and just the whole buzz around the club is got a really good vibe about them, and they're all so young, so the future is very, very bright for Leicester.
At the moment, all of the cameras are focusing on Jamie Vardy and the Leicester manager Brendan Rodgers, but a word, Karen, on Chala Soyuncu, because he's the guy who's effectively replaced Harry Maguire, although he obviously was already at the club. If you go back to, say, June, July, Soyuncu was probably best known for being that Leicester player who looks a bit like the villain from Shrek. So he's come a long way.
He's not a villain. He was man of the match for me today. He was outstanding. He had Jordan Ayew up against him, and he dealt with him very, very well. Benteke come on, and you know what? He's so good in possession, and as much as Harry Maguire is a top player, I don't think Brendan Rodgers would have been aggrieved by letting him go with the money that he got for him, and seeing in the wings that he had Soyuncu, and he saw what he had available, and he, like I said, he can play, he's composed, he's physical, he's strong, he can organise, and he's just fitted in so well next to Johnny Evans, and they're just strong, and I just think they're brilliant. I do, Leicester. I think they're fab.
Bottom line, Ali, is that they're obviously not any worse defensively than they were with an £80 million player playing at centre-back. In fact, they've got the joint best defensive record in the league.
Yeah, and I think they knew he was ready to go. So, they got as much money as they possibly could for Harry Maguire, and good luck to him at Manchester United. And, and he did a great job for Leicester City, but they knew what they had in Challar Soyuncu. And I'm just having a look in my notes here. So he made 4 Premier League starts last season. So he's not really had that extended run in the team to form a partnership with another centre-back. But it just looks absolutely, Evans and Soyuncu, with Evans actually the left footer playing on the right-hand side of the two, but it's working brilliantly. I mean, what a brilliant bit of business done by Leicester City.
Even the fact of, I know you got Johnny Evans from West Brom, but he was a steal as well.
Yeah.
Both of them, you're looking at Harry Maguire's worth 80 million. How much are these pair worth? What a bit of business from Leicester to get him from West Brom on the cheap, and Soyuncu was just waiting in the wings.
Because Manchester City and Arsenal were both looking at Johnny Evans at the time and couldn't get him, and Leicester get him for £3.5 million.
Manchester City now will be thinking, we should have gone after him because we're struggling. We've got a top. He's an experienced centre back. Where'd you get that from? He's got pace. He's both-footed. He can organise. He's got the mentality of the old Manchester United, where he's an absolute winner. He's a top centre back, and all the other teams will be thinking, why did we not go for him?
Part of me, Karen, wonders now whether Leicester are so good that from a Crystal Palace perspective, they're on the level of one of those teams where you go, do you know what, we'll just write off what happens in this game against Leicester City. Fair enough, we've lost, but this doesn't say anything about us, and it doesn't necessarily say anything about the direction our season is going in.
Yeah, I still think they played well today, Palace. I just think they're missing that goal scorer. You've looked at the stats, how many they've scored this season. I know they set up the way that they do because they don't have a number 9 that's going to score them the goals. They can't be expansive because they're not going to score that many, and I don't think they've done that bad today. I really don't.
The question you asked me, Steve, right at the start of the show, was sort of the expectations of Leicester and Palace considering where they're sitting in the league. And Steve Parrish, the chairman, was just sitting down at that point, so I was trying to be a little bit delicate about it. But I think the point I was trying to make was Leicester, quite rightly, I think now, particularly as what are we looking at? We've played 11 games so far this season. Quite rightly now, we are expecting them to have a really good go at finishing the top 4 this season. But I think having just watched the two today, and you look at the squad strength, which is what I was trying to say at the start, is Palace have made a brilliant start to the season. They're going to be absolutely fine this season, and they should be aiming for definitely top half. But I think we saw the difference in quality between the two today, which is why Leicester do have the potential to finish top 4 and Palace don't.
Ali, Karen, thank you very much. Ali Bruce Ball there with the former Chelsea and England midfielder Karen Carney at Selhurst Park, where Leicester City have won 2-0 to move up to 3rd in the table, and they now have the outright, on his own, top scorer in the Premier League as Jamie Vardy gets his 10th of the season, one ahead of Sergio Aguero and also one ahead of Tammy Abraham. We are going to be going to Goodison Park very shortly, less than 30 minutes to go until our second commentary of this 5 Live Premier League Sunday, Everton against Tottenham Hotspur. Very shortly we'll be joined by commentator Alan Green, the former Everton winger Pat Nevin, and Jason Burt, the chief football correspondent for the Daily Telegraph. We're going to get the news now on 5 Live with Nick Hatfield.
On digital, BBC Sounds, smart speaker and online.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Nigel Farage will not be standing as a candidate in the general election. The Brexit Party leader says he thinks he can serve Brexit better by travelling the country promoting his candidates. Matthew Goodwin is a professor of politics and international relations at the University of Kent.
It's going to be a significant campaign. If Nigel Farage has run many general election campaigns before, it's also just being revealed over the last few days that the Brexit Party's using some voter targeting technology from the US and is mainly going to use that to target Conservative Leave voters.
The Scottish Conservative MP Ross Thompson is to stand down after being accused of sexually assaulting a Labour MP in a Commons bar. He won't contest the seat for Aberdeen South at the general election but denies any wrongdoing. Jo Swinson has suggested that the decision not to include her in the first TV leaders debate is due to sexism. Only Boris Johnson and Jeremy Corbyn have been invited to take part in the ITV programme on the 19th of November. It says there will be a separate programme for 7 party leaders. The Lib Dem leader has been speaking to Sky.
If you look at the comparison to 2010, right, you had Liberal Democrats still had far fewer MPs than the other parties, but Nick Clegg was OK to be in those debates. I mean, frankly, either it's sexist or they're scared, or maybe it's a bit of both. But I should be there as the voice for the millions of people in this country who want to remain.
At least 4 people have been injured in a knife attack at the site of a pro-democracy protest in Hong Kong. One of the injured had his ear partially bitten off. The pro-democracy campaign has been ongoing since March. A 22-year-old man arrested in connection with the death of a 10-month-old baby in Greater Manchester has been released on bail. The girl was found at a house in Farnworth near Bolton on Friday. And ITV says 12.8 million viewers watched the end of the Rugby World Cup final, in which England lost to South Africa yesterday. It was the biggest audience for a rugby match since the 2007 World Cup between the same two sides.
F1, the Mexico Grand Prix.
Out through the final corner. Another win for Hamilton, just ahead of Sebastian Vettel. Once again, Ferrari have thrown away victory. Hamilton wins, Vettel second, Bottas third, Leclerc across the line in fourth position.
Well done, Lewis. Really well done.
That was a tough race.
Will Lewis Hamilton wrap things up this weekend? Next, the United States Grand Prix. Race commentary from 8 p.m. later today.
F1 on 5 Live.
Welcome back to Premier League Sunday. We are off very shortly to Goodison Park. Marco Silva and Maurizio Pochettino both desperately need points and performances from their teams. The full team news to come, but the headline, no Harry Kane for Tottenham Hotspur.
5 Live's Premier League Sunday
with Steve Crossman.
In our early game, Leicester City go third after beating Crystal Palace 2-0.
Tielemans again on the left, threads his pass in. Vardy's touch, brilliant to Gray. Back to Vardy. Vardy, first time, what a goal! What a goal from Leicester City.
Our Rangers closing in on a cup final at Hampden. Roddy Forsyth.
As matters stand, Steven Gerrard's first cup final as a manager will be against Celtic as players lead Hearts by 2-0. Philip Helander getting one just before the break. Alfredo Morelos scoring as you came to me. It's Rangers 2, Hearts 0.
And now it's time for our second commentary of the day.
Trossard in the penalty area. Trossard steered in. Brighton have slashed it right at the death. Onto his right foot. Danger shoots, deflected. Hits the post. It's headed in. Harry Kane was there. It bounced perfectly to him.
Everton against Tottenham is live on 5 Live Premier League Sunday. Let's get back to Goodison Park then. The full team news from our commentator Alan Green.
Kane didn't travel. Officially, he's feeling unwell. He's one of 3 changes in Pochettino's starting 11 today. Rose is suspended. Winks drops to the bench. Moura is in for Kane. Davis in at left back. Ndombele is in for Winks in midfield. This is their starting 11. The goalkeeper is Gazzaniga, who was excellent at Anfield last Sunday. Then the back 4, Aurier, Alderweireld, Sanchez and Davis. Then Sissoko and Ndombele. Then Ali, Eriksson and Som. Finally, Lucas Moura. Everton have to make 2 changes. Mina has returned after injury. He replaces Kane in the centre of defence. And Bernard has a knee ligament injury. He's replaced by Delp in this starting 11. Goalkeeper Pickford, back 4 of Sidibe, Mina, Holgate and Dina. Then it's Davis, Gomez and Delph. And finally Iwobi, Walcott and Richarlison.
And joining Alan at Goodison Park, the chief football correspondent from the Daily Telegraph, Jason Burt, and the former Everton winger, Pat Nevin. Afternoon, chaps.
Hello there.
Good afternoon.
So there's a lot to get at there, but we obviously have to start with the absence of Harry Kane. And I was saying to Alan earlier, Pat, you would always want him in your team, of course you would. But ironically, Spurs don't have a bad record when he's not there.
Yeah, a lot of people have been talking about that, just looking at some of their information, some of the stats. However, you're right, you would rather have him in your team. One reason for that sometimes is because if you get the best player, a lot of time everything's played through him and you get slightly less out of other players. When he's not playing, you tend to get a lot more out of Son. You play through him a lot more, and I think we all realise there's no big secret that Son is an absolutely fantastic player, but there's other players who have to step up to the plate today. And of course I think a lot of us will be looking at Dele Alli, but specifically Eriksson as well. Many eyes on him, not just how well he plays, but the attitude on the field as well.
Jason, where do you think Son will play then? Because you've got Son, Ali, Eriksson and Lucas as the kind of most advanced 4. Does Son go through the middle? Does he go on the right?
It's a good question. I mean, I've seen him play through the middle and done a really, really good job for Tottenham playing there. But it may be more fluid than that. Obviously, with Lucas also in the team, an awful lot of pace there. It may be he's going to try and push Ali a bit further forward, which I think would suit Ali an awful lot because he's really struggled to find a role in the team. I think a lot of people have criticised him, and rightly so, because he's not been the player he was. But actually, he's not really been playing in the position that's been his best position. When he sort of rose to prominence at Tottenham Hotspur, he's almost playing as a second striker, almost as a striker. And it was his goals that really got him his reputation. And we haven't seen him score goals, but obviously playing deeper, he's not been as effective. So I wonder whether or not they're going to try and think about ways of getting him further forward in the team.
I was having a look, Pat, at one of the local websites that covers Tottenham Hotspur, and they did a poll basically for what should the Tottenham team be. And it was interesting that Ali, Eriksen and Aurier were all out of that team, but they're all in Maurizio Pochettino's team, and they all have something to prove.
Yeah, and those things will change very, very quickly, but it's just how the fans feel at the moment. Aurier, I think we all know he's made a couple of mistakes that have been pretty high profile and very costly as well. The Dele Alli one's not surprising, to be honest, because he's been, as Jason correctly says, he's been a long way away from his capable best. I mean, I agree that if you can get him in that position, which was, Jason calls it second striker, I would say kind of number 8 arriving, in an inside left position, and he scored a whole bunch of goals from that position. But the big question, you're right, is Spurs fans are looking at Eriksen. They know how brilliant he is, and he's not shown that on the pitch, and that's what's annoying them, and that's why any team doesn't like a player on the pitch if they don't think they're getting everything from him.
Fans don't want a player who wants away.
Exactly.
And Eriksen wants away. Yeah. I think that's his only problem. With Ali, well, he's just 23, something like that, so we forget he's still a young lad. So he is going to suffer in different form on occasion. But I was interested in that quote from Pochettino this week when he said he wanted the naughty Ali back.
Yeah, because
the niggling one.
There's an awful lot of focus on Ali when he was getting booked or sent off for his sort of, and he had that aggression in his game, didn't he? I think there was a game once at Tottenham Hotspur where he rabbit punched somebody in the stomach. I think he was playing West Brom.
That was Harry Kane. That was terrible.
and there's an awful lot of focus on that. But when you take that devilment out of him, you lose something. You see that with a number of players sometimes. If you don't play on the edge, if you don't play with that level of aggression, you're not quite the same player. He's had injuries. He's had clearly loss of form, maybe distracted with other things. But obviously, it's a very interesting point that Pochettino makes and Alan picks up upon, because if you get that devilment back into him, then you've got the player you used to have.
Have you not got a slight problem, though? Also, you know where his best possession is, where he does his best damage. So everybody else knows. If you know, if I know, if everybody watching knows, well, you go and play people in that sort of position to stop him arriving there. And I certainly know some of the clubs that have played against Tottenham did that. They just killed that space that he likes to run into. So he needs to adapt.
And do you think that's why Pochettino stopped playing him there?
I think partially because he has to adapt. Because for all the tactical, abilities that he's got, for all the technical abilities he's got, there are better technical players out there. But he was very good at arriving in that area. Okay, then you kill that space. You better go and do something else. And maybe that's the reason why he's been shifted a little bit. Can I go back slightly to the Eriksen point just for a millisecond? You say that fans don't want him because he asked away. You have to add something to that. Fans don't want him because he asked away and he ain't doing it. If he asked away and he was still doing it, they would be okay. I give you Eden Hazard last season for Chelsea. He wanted away. Everybody knew it. Fans didn't turn on him.
And actually, Jason, one of the easy comparisons to make is of two individual players, very skillful individual players, who played at Anfield in the space of the last week. Mesut Ozil playing in the cup there for Arsenal had a fantastic game. Eriksen playing in the league there didn't really appear to turn up.
Yeah, but the whole Ozil situation again, how badly has that been handled? I was at Arsenal on Friday for Unai Emery's pre-match press conference in which he said that he was back in the squad, and the point I made to him was he hasn't been in your last 6 matchday squads in the Premier League. How can he suddenly be back in? He's back in the team. It smacks of a manager who's got a situation there which he basically, clearly Arsenal want Ozil out of the club, partly because of how much money he's earning, partly because I believe he hasn't done what they want him to do, but because they're under so much pressure now, they're putting him straight back in. And it's just not working in terms of the way they're managing that club at the moment, in terms of the way they're managing that squad. If they don't want him, they should have got rid of him. If they don't, but he's there, he's the highest paid player, they've got to find a way to get him into the team, and they put him in yesterday. Will he be in next week? I don't know.
But Ozil is often the target of booing, if you like. He did turn up. He did make a performance. I can't remember the last time Eriksen has shown that
quality. He actually hasn't become the target of booing recently. He's become the target of the anger over the manager for not playing him. He's almost become a better player by not playing at Arsenal. And they haven't used him so much. So suddenly he's become this great player that they've left out. And yes, you're right. He did play well on Wednesday, and he played well again yesterday. I mean, Emery's answer to that was because he'd be more positive. And I asked him, so what do you mean by positive? And he didn't really answer the question. Is he implying that Ozil's been a negative influence around the club, or he's not been positive in training? He's saying he's working harder and he's been more positive. But why has it reached this point in the season that he can actually feel like he can put him back in the team?
We're talking about two managers here who are under pressure. So is Unai Emery.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
hugely under pressure.
As far as Christian Eriksen goes, we all know what he's capable of. Do you think there's a tipping point here, Pat, that at some point, maybe soon, if we don't start to see the real Christian Eriksen, that he won't be in that team?
Absolutely. I mean, no doubt about that. Do you know what the tipping point is? The tipping point is when I start turning against him.
Right.
He's one of my favourite players. I absolutely adore him as a footballer. But recently, I'm just looking at him thinking, there's not the work rate. His work rate, that's the thing you forget about him. See, when you start looking at some of the stats of the kilometres covered, him at his best, he was beating everybody else. He was hammering, not just a good technical player, but he had that as well. I would put something else, if I was his agent or his advisor, I would put something else in front of him. I would say, do you know if you want to play for Real Madrid, they're watching you every week, mate.
Yeah, will they want him?
Yeah, will they still want you
Not
if you think
like
you might have lost it?
His best hope is they might want him on a free. And that's not a great reason to go there, because obviously they might move on by then next summer anyway. But he's obviously gambling that he can get a good club next summer for free. And I agree with Pat. You've got to put it in now. I mean, obviously, again, another player who did that was Luis Suarez. Luis Suarez didn't get his move, had an amazing season at Liverpool, gets his move to Barcelona. I mean, you've got to get on with it, basically. And I think that the danger for Eriksen is Lo Celso on the bench now. Lo Celso's starting to come into the picture. If Lo Celso gets into the team, he might be out of the team. And I think what's interesting is, and I think part of the problem with Tottenham all round, is Pochettino isn't able to pick the players he wants to pick at the moment, because he's picking players who don't want to be there. And I think there must be part of him thinking, I don't want these players here either, because if they don't want to be here, I want them out of the picture. But because he has injuries and loss of form, he's picking players at the moment who don't really want to be at the club. And that can't be a good thing. And obviously I think that is the biggest single problem at the club.
Do you think if Lo Celso was 100% fit, and Pochettino's been complaining about Argentina calling him up, which suggests he's not, but if he was, would Eriksen be playing?
I'm not sure he would be. I think he must be thinking, Lo Celso, I'm going to go with Lo Celso as soon as I can go with Lo Celso. And I think then Eriksen comes out of the team. And it'll be a long way back for him, I think, after that.
I mean, Alan, there are so many bits of this Spurs team we could pick apart, which says everything. But fullback is the other area of concern. And if it wasn't for the situation with Ali, and if it wasn't for the situation with Eriksen, maybe we'd only be talking about players like Serge Aurier, who is still in that Tottenham team.
Giving away penalties.
Yeah.
It was a desperate decision of his at Anfield. It really was. And worse because he's done it on so many other occasions. I don't quite know why he's in the team, full stop. But they let Trippier go.
Yeah.
And then there he plays. But he's not the brightest.
Walker Peters has been injured, hasn't he?
Yeah.
So he's been out of the picture. Now, Aurier, we're talking about players who don't want to be at Tottenham. Aurier thought he was leaving in the summer as well. He thought he was going, and he didn't go.
To be honest, I wouldn't be surprised, because at this level and the standard of players and technical players you've got in the Premier League, if I played in the wing and playing against somebody, I want him to be clumsy.
Rash.
He's clumsy. And clumsy 20 years ago, 10 years ago was bad enough. Clumsy now is a nightmare, because you just need to touch somebody in that box and it's curtains, you're going to lose a penalty kick. And there is no doubt about it. He's a bit clumsy, and that's disaster for a fullback these days.
Play on it. Play Walcott on the left-hand side today, Everton, and let him go at Aurier.
I actually think Bernard would have been a player to play against him had he been available. So that was maybe one that would have been the perfect player to play against, but I don't think he's available today.
We've had about 17 minutes on this Tottenham lineup, so very shortly we'll move on to Everton. But Jason Burt, just before we lose you, as far as Aurier goes, and I know what you're saying about the other players potentially who could play there. What about Juan Foyth? He does play right back for Argentina, doesn't he? So
yeah, and I think that's a good shout, actually. I think Foyth must be in Pochettino's plans to play as a right back. Pochettino really rates him very, very highly. He can be rash as well, by the way, but I think he rates him really, really highly. I would have thought, yeah, you're absolutely right. He's the one he's probably looking at, thinking he can come in there and maybe replace Aurier. What's interesting for me as well, on the other flank, you've got Danny Rose out today. Ben Davies, who couldn't get a look in, is now the captain today. And that's a bit odd to me as well. He's come straight back into the team and made him captain. Well, he hasn't even been in the picture recently.
Yeah, with Sessegnon on the bench as well, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Jason, thank you very much for joining us. Really appreciate it. Jason Burt there, the chief football correspondent at the Daily Telegraph. Let's go back to Hampden Park. Roddy Forsyth.
We're about to hit the hour mark. Rangers still leading by 2-0 and looking very comfortable against the Hearts side, who conceded goals in the last minute of the first half. That was Philip Helander. He was allowed to simply stroll onto the 6-yard line and tap home a Morelos cross. And then Morelos himself, just after half-time, where Tavernier cut back across the box and the Colombian turned it in. And Morelos has just hit the crossbar. Rangers don't look too agitated about the fact it didn't go in. That's how comfortable they are. It's Hearts 0, Rangers 2, and we're 60 minutes into the game.
Roddy, thank you very much. At Goodison Park, our commentator Alan Green and the former Chelsea winger Pat Nevin. Let's talk about Chelsea now then, Pat. And, well, Theo Walcott is quite an interesting figure, because you go back to, I think it was back end of September, he couldn't even get in the squad. He was at Wolves in his club suit watching the game, so he was fit. Now you could argue he's their most important player.
Yeah, he is a very, very important player for Everton. Just looking at, the team that set out today, I'm looking at, Eriksson, we mentioned, he's playing but not at his best. And I think Sigurdsson's a fabulous technical player. They're probably the two best technical players at these two clubs at the moment, and neither of them are playing or playing well. But Walcott's been very, very important, just purely for his pace as much as anything else. But it's still not working right for Everton. I mean, it's miles away from being right for Everton. And the pressure that's going to be piled on either Everton or Spurs today, whichever team loses, is going to be extraordinary. I would say for Everton in particular, because this club here, I mean, they don't expect to be in top 4 all the time, but this is a club that expects to fix 6th or 7th. You're getting towards relegation and beginning to actually bring the R word into it. You cannot do that at a club at this level and survive if you're the manager.
I was saying a while ago on 5 Live, Pat, Everton Spurs, think back a year. Tottenham were going so strongly, and yes, I know the second half of their league campaign wasn't great in terms of results, but they still reached the Champions League final, and Everton always looked like a team that would finish in the top half a dozen, at worst 8th. Yeah. And now here they are, 17th and 13th. It is shocking.
Yeah. It's actually, I think it's a real mess. And again, if you play for a club that kind of has a kind of effect on you in a slightly different way as well. But I'm slightly shocked by the fact that with the quality of players that Everton have got and have come through the door, and the money that's been spent on them in the last couple of years, the underperforming level from the manager just now is off. It's just ridiculous. He's got to be under pressure now, because I don't know if anyone's underperforming anywhere
Pat,
near
sorry,
that
we're just going to have to very quickly interrupt you, because we can go live now to the tunnel at Selhurst Park. George Cummins with Roy Hodgson.
Roy, disappointing defeat today. I mean, what was your take on your team's performance?
I've never had a defeat which isn't disappointing, and the take on the performance was, I thought we played well enough. I thought it was a good performance. I think that we held our own very, very well against Leicester City, who obviously in fine form. And up until the first goal, and even after the first goal, we were never out of the game. But at the end, I'm afraid the second goal, coming so close to the end, killed the game off as far as we're concerned. But I'm in no way disappointed with what the players did today and the effort they put in today, and I thought it was pretty much an even game.
Missed opportunity in the sense that you could have gone off up to 5th place?
Yes, another truism, I'm afraid. I don't know quite what to say. I'm not really in the mood for answering truisms.
A quick word on Leicester. I mean, do you think they'll surprise people this season?
I don't talk about it. I mean, you're going to be talking to Brendan Rodgers in a minute, and I'm sure he'll have lots to say about Leicester City, because that's his team. I work for Crystal Palace. We thought, we were going to be playing against a very good team here today. We did play against a very good team here today. We were prepared for it, and they were the ones who came out on top this time. Previous 4 encounters, we've been fortunate enough to come out on top, but not today. And I can only congratulate them to their victory. But I mean, by no means especially disappointed with my own team, because I thought we made a very good game of it.
Thank you very much. Thanks for joining us on 5 Live.
Roy Hodgson there, the Crystal Palace manager, live on 5 Live Premier League Sunday with George Cummins after their 2-0 defeat to Leicester City. Oh, we've had a goal at Hampden, Roddy.
Rangers 3, Hearts 0. Ryan Kent taking on the left side of the Hearts defence and then simply playing a short ball into Morelos, who took it first with his right foot and then with the same foot volleyed past Pereira. And so it's Rangers 3, Hearts 0. It's now 65 minutes gone and the first Hearts supporters are heading for the buses.
7 minutes to kick off then at Goodison Park. Sorry, Pat Nevin, I cut you off. Full flow.
No, not at all. It's important to get Roy. And by the way, great to hear Roy there. He did sound quite snippy. That's because he knows how close that team were to getting in towards the top 6. And getting them even close to that, considering where he's taken them from the day he took over, is nothing short of astonishing. He's done an amazing job at Crystal Palace, and he's every right to be a little bit disappointed because they did play quite well today. And they are, you think of where they are just now in comparison to a team like Everton, who have spent so much more, which we were talking about just before. And it's ridiculous how they've underperformed in comparison to the overperforming you're getting from Crystal Palace because of what Roy Hodgson's done.
I think you've successfully read between the lines there, Pat. I think you're right. Roy Hodgson not particularly pleased after that defeat. Everton-Tottenham is a commentary game. Kicks off in 6 minutes' time. 2 M. Keanes on the bench for Everton, Pat, Moyes and Michael. Now, Michael Keane's an interesting one because technically he hasn't been dropped because of the League Cup game in midweek. But in reality, he has. This is the first time in 16 Premier League games that Keane has been in the squad, but not in the starting lineup. Suddenly, he has a real fight on for his place.
Yeah, and maybe that's just a signal that's going to be sent out to him, if you've not been playing to the standard you had been a little while ago, No one should be immune to this. I don't think he's been dreadful, but certainly he's, dropped a level. So, go and ask him that question. But part of it might also be just shuffle the pack. You look at Silva, the changes that he's made, it's just not settled in a settled team for the entirety of his time here. But then he's not going to do that if they're not, playing particularly well. So, yeah, there's a question mark about him. I have to say, I'm completely confused and befuddled by why Moise Keane's not doing well. I mean, the amount of time I spent watching him last season and how brilliant he was. And then he's coming, I expected it to explode right from the start. And it hasn't for him. I think I'm absolutely convinced it will because he's got so many qualities, but he's taken a little well to bed, and you could really do with him now, because with him up as a central player up front, it would give you so many options around him.
Well, he could do with a run in the team.
See that again, the noise just went up there.
Right. He could do with a run in the team.
Yeah, and that's maybe, you could argue that, but then again, when he was over in Italy, he's been on a sub quite a lot at the time, but he's come on and having a massive impact as well. But you're right, he wants to run in the team. We do forget he's very, very young. He's a big, strong lad, but he's very, very young as well. So you have to take that into account. New city, new country, everything on top of it. It sounds as if I'm making a lot of excuses for him. I am. He's better than that. Given his chances, he's got to take them.
Yeah, I definitely think we'll see the best of Moise Kean before long. Once he gets in that Everton team, we'll be back at Goodison very, very shortly indeed. There's only 4 minutes to kick off in our late game between Everton and Tottenham Hotspur. Elsewhere in the Premier League already today, it finished Crystal Palace 0, Leicester City 2. We've heard from an unhappy Roy Hodgson. Now let's hear from one of the Leicester City goal scorers. Jamie Vardy got the second, and he's now the top scorer in the Premier League.
Jamie, this is a really difficult place to come. Palace are very hard to beat. That's a good result.
Yeah, it's a big result. We've struggled here in the past, so to obviously get the 2 goals and topping it off with a clean sheet as well, we're obviously over the moon.
There weren't a lot of chances in the game, were there? But I think most of them were created by Leicester. Yeah,
we created quite a few chances. We could have probably scored in that first half to take a lead into half time, but it wasn't to be. But we knew it were going to be tough, and we knew we'd have to go all the way to the end, and we've done that today. We got the goal thanks to Cags, and then obviously topped it off right at the end there.
That was a nice move, wasn't it, for the second goal? 2-3 passes and then a smart finish.
Yeah, as soon as Yuri passed it in, I could tell that Dimmy was just going to run over it, so my mind was made up quite easy. Coming to me, late off to Dimmy, was making the run, and luckily he's laid it back off.
You've got so much creativity behind you. When you look at Yuri Tielemans, you look at James Maddison, Harvey Barnes, these are all players who are likely to do something for you at any moment. Yeah, the creativity and the attacking talent that we've got it's unbelievable what we can fall on. If it's not, like you say, like Yuri setting you up, then it's probably Maddison, or like you say,
Barnes on one side and then Iose's on the other. So the attacking threat we've got is great, and it can only benefit us, especially when they're all so young as well.
You're top of the Premier League goal scoring charts, which is obviously, we're pretty early season, but it's a nice place to be.
Yeah, obviously delighted to be there, but there's still a long way to go, a lot of games to play, so I'll be getting back on that training field, working on my finishing again, and looking forward to the game next week.
Jamie Vardy, 10 Premier League goals for the season. Another man amongst the goals yet again is Alfredo Morelos. Let's go back to Hampden Park. Rangers Hearts, Roddy.
Well, it's still Rangers 3, Hearts 0, but Morelos thought it was 4 and he thought he had his hat-trick. He went on to a Tavernier ball, but he'd just gone too fast. And even though we don't have VAR here, it was a linesman's clear call on the far side that the Colombian was offside. But Rangers absolutely rampant at the moment, 3-0.
Roddy, thank you very much indeed. A couple of other stories for you. Great Britain's women's hockey team have qualified for next year's Olympics. They beat Chile 2-1 at Lee Valley to secure their place at the Games in Tokyo. Rory McIlroy has won golf's WGC HSBC Champions event in Shanghai. After a playoff, he beat the defending champion Xander Schauffele after the pair were tied at 19 under par after 4 rounds. In boxing, Mexican Saul Canelo Alvarez beat Russia's Sergey Kovalev to take the WBO light heavyweight crown in Las Vegas. Canelo had stepped up 2 weight divisions to fight for his latest victory. He's now won world titles at 4 different weight levels. Another score for you today in the championship. Preston have gone top of the league after a 1-0 victory at Charlton. Just before we go back to Goodison Park, we've got around about 90 seconds until kick-off there. I can tell you about what's coming up on 5 Live. Today from 6:30, 5 Live Formula 1 presented by Jenny Gow in Austin at the US Grand Prix. On Sports Extra right now, Worcester Warriors against the Exeter Chiefs Rugby Union from the Premiership. Later on TV, Match of the Day 2 on BBC 1 from 10:30 with Mark Chapman, Martin Keown and Jermaine Genius, where of course you'll be able to see highlights from both of our games today on Premier League Sunday. Monday Night Club as well, don't forget about that. Mark Chapman will be with Chris Sutton, Rory Smith and Micah Richards, which is followed by Toffes and Vaughan with Jimmy Anderson and Michael Vaughan. There will also be a special programme, I can tell you, tomorrow night, which starts at 10, which looks back at the 2019 Rugby World Cup final in Japan. Our commentary game then at 4:30 is Everton against Tottenham Hotspur. Huge game for both teams. Marco Silva potentially right on the edge, and Maurizio Pochettino needs the points as well. We've just been hearing that Christian Eriksen does start for Tottenham Hotspur. Michael Keane dropped for Everton in favour of Mason Holgate. The Premier League table looks like this. Tottenham Hotspur in 13th on 10 points. A win today would take them, though, into 8th place in the table. But Everton, 2 points and 1 place above the relegation zone. Your commentary team at Goodison is the former Everton winger Pat Nevin with Alan Green.
We've just had a minute's silence plus the playing of the last post because of the proximity to Remembrance Sunday, remembering all of those who fought and died in 2 world wars. So we're ready to get underway here at Goodison. Everton in their blue shirts, white shorts and white socks. Tottenham, white shirts, navy shorts and navy socks. And let's hope that VAR isn't an element today. I'm just getting over the Premier League's pronouncement last night about the disallowed goal for Firmino as we get underway here. Firmino at Aston Villa because of the position of his armpit. I've thought of a better one than that. What if you have a runny nose and a cold?
Yes.
The person, by the way, who judged that for VAR yesterday at Villa Park was Martin Atkinson. He's the referee today as we welcome listeners to BBC's World Service. Welcome to Goodison Park. 2 teams under considerable pressure, Everton and Tottenham. I still can't believe I'm watching teams play 17th and 13th in the Premier League. 13th, Tottenham, Champions League finalists. And the ball is back with their goalkeeper, Gazzaniga, who was outstanding at Anfield last Sunday. Made 12 saves.
Yep, he's got a big part to play, I would imagine, today as well. Interesting, before the game we were questioning who would play up centre forward, striker instead of Harry Kane. Would it be Son? Would it be Lucas Moura? And it would appear to be Moura starting there.
That's the way it is at the moment, but here's Sidibe on the attack, the right full-back for Everton, playing it back to Davis. Davis, right-footed, swings the cross in towards the far post, where Iwobi jumped, mistimed the jump, missed the ball, but it's back in Everton's position. In possession rather. Iwobi plays it towards the left-hand side, intercepted by Aurier, and now it's Son trying to counter-attack over the halfway line, runs out of possession quickly, and Davis picks it up for Everton. Davis plays it to the left-hand side, and their acting captain Dina sweeps it forward towards Richarlison, runs into the penalty area where it's shepherded behind by Sanchez for a goal kick.
Well, just seeing a brilliant piece of play there by, defensive play by Delph. He's going to have to be on his game there. He's playing slightly on the left-hand side, sitting midfield row. He's going to have to cover in front of Digne. There's Son there who's playing on the right wing. But the one thing Everton needed was that bit of vitality in that midfield. And with Tom Davis, and obviously with him, Delph, I think they've got that vitality in there.
Ndombele playing it to the right side to Aurier. Aurier feeds it down the right flank, but he's blocked by Iwobi, and he goes out of play for a throw-in to Tottenham Hotspur. Without a win in the Premier League away from home since January, but they haven't lost here since 2012. That's a good touch by Dele Alli, flicked on by Lucas Moura. Eriksson was sluggish to react. Tackled, the ball beaten away, collected by Tottenham again. Eriksson this time gets it back to Aurier. Aurier with Song available on the right flank. That's the far side of the field. Tottenham attacking from right to left in this first half. It's back with their central defender Sanchez, forward to Ali. Sanchez once more, just moving inside the Everton half. Good ball down the left side. Davis sweeps it into the penalty area, but not before the assistant flag is raised on the far side of the field for offside. Let me give you the two lineups in full. First of all, Everton, goalkeeper Pickford, a back four of Sidibe, Mina, Holgate and Dina, who's the captain. Then we've got three in midfield, Davis, Gomez and Delph, and three up front, Walcott, Richarlison and Iwobi. Tottenham's goalkeeper is Gazzaniga. Their back four, Aurier, Alderweireld, Sanchez and Davis. Then we've got Sissoko and Ndombele. Lucas Moura is the furthest forward of the remaining four players. Son on the right, Ali on the left, Eriksson in the middle. It's Pickford, the Everton and England goalkeeper, who clears it towards the left-hand side of the field. Dina controls it well, forward to Iwobi. And back it goes to Delph. Delph sweeps it 50 yards back into his own half to the goalkeeper again, Pickford. Pickford out to Mina. Mina was an injury problem with a knee knock, but he plays today. It's Keane who drops out. Holgate retains his position. Pickford slashes it upfield. Walcott chases after it. Walcott didn't collect it inside the Tottenham penalty area, and it bounces harmlessly through to the goalkeeper.
That would have been the pass of the weekend, I would suggest. It was about 80 yards there from the goalkeeper, and I call it a pass. I don't think it was a big lump aimlessly up there. I think he was looking for Walcott, got away there. Both teams looked actually quite sprightly going forward, and you mentioned Dele Alli a moment ago when he had the little through ball that he nearly pushed into Lucas Moura, and it's one of those ones where had that beautiful little ball been played into Harry Kane, Kane's first touch would have been brilliant. He would have been away and bearing down and goal, and it's just the difference in that incredible quality that Kane either gives you or indeed today doesn't give you because he's not playing.
Yeah, no Harry Kane today. The official word is that he's unwell, didn't make the journey up from London. Everton won't be disheartened by that, considering he scored 8 times in the last 4 games against Everton as Harry Kane. Here's Sanchez for Spurs. Sanchez to Sissoko. Sissoko onto the far side of the field, and Aurier back to Alderweireld. And now it's with Sanchez once more.
Everton have got a tactical problem here. Walcott is not going with Davis. Now, that means Walcott
now in attacking sense. Walcott now searching towards the penalty area. Alderweireld comes across. Walcott tries to tee up Gomez, didn't get the pass right, and it's cleared to safety.
I didn't get my words out there, Alan, did I? It's a really interesting thing because Walcott is not following Davis. He's just letting him go. Now, if Davis gets on the ball there, it's a 2-on-1 in that area there, and it's putting Sidibe under pressure. Problem for Davis is that if the ball then breaks, exactly what happens was halfway through it there. And it's a real nice little bit of play between the both of them. Who's going to blink first?
Well, referee Martin Atkinson adjudges that Davis has fouled Sidibe. It's a free kick to Everton. Still 25 yards short of the halfway line. Tapped by Delph. Back to Mina, and now here's Pickford again. Pickford, I noticed last weekend, was badly at fault, I thought, for the first goal that was conceded by Everton. I mean, it looked like a fantastic shot on television, and then you saw how close Pickford was to it. Should have got it.
It's one of those ones where, if you watch it particularly in slow motion, it looks terrible. And I always say it doesn't happen in slow motion. The ball was going quite quick, so it was too close to most goalkeepers, as they say in the trade, would be disappointed with that one.
Not sure you admitted it. Anyway, it's 0-0 here. Everton and Spurs earlier finished Crystal Palace 0, Leicester City 2. Leicester's good form continues. They're up to third in the Premier League table, but that means they're 8 points behind Liverpool and 2 points behind Manchester City. Here's Alderweireld for Tottenham. On now to Ndombele. Ndombele on the halfway line, just slips the pass to his left to Sanchez. Spurs committing almost everyone inside the Everton half at the moment, but the ball's back inside Tottenham territory. Ali takes the safety first option, plays it back to his goalkeeper, Gazzaniga, who may not have fancied that pass, but dealt with it very well. Out to Sanchez. Now Ali once more. And Ali plays it to Alderweireld, sorry.
Would you agree with me, Alan, that they got out of that, but not particularly elegantly?
No.
There are some teams that can do that very elegantly. You'll watch Manchester City, but they got that out of there more by hook or by crook, as opposed to doing it by very good play.
But Tottenham have definitely started the brighter of the two in these opening 8 minutes.
Yeah, just a bit, the directness of Everton, particularly through Walcott early on. A couple of times he's almost got through, once from the goalkeeper and once when he was left. So, end to end without being a classic yet, but it's early days.
It will be after Dina intercepted a Tottenham pass. Now it's back into the Everton half with Mina. Mina plays it to Sidibe. Sidibe tried to sweep it further forward towards the run from Davis. It was blocked by Ali and out of play for a throw-in. Marco Silva quite animated near the touchline, this near side of the field. Goodison's pack. There's a good ball forward to Davis. Davis tried to sweep it in towards Richarlison, knocked away by Sanchez. Ali for Tottenham, looking for too much of a run from Son. Son knew he was going to get there, and it's knocked out of play by Holgate. Throw in to Tottenham as a result.
Yeah, usually the goalkeeper comes out there. It was a 50-50 between the goalkeeper and his own centre back. Goalkeeper said it's mine. Defender says no, it isn't. It doesn't matter though, as long as somebody gets it away.
Indeed.
But they were not communicating.
Here's Davis after a Spurs throw-in, but it's intercepted by Delph for Everton and played back by Amina to the goalkeeper Pickford. Pickford looking to direct it long, looking to direct it towards the right-hand flank, towards Walcott, who jumped well, got his head to the ball, but only managed to head it out of play, and it'll be a throw-in to Tottenham. 10 minutes gone in the second half. You listen to 5 Live. Second half? No, it's not moving that quickly, the game. 10 minutes gone in the first half. You're listening to 5 Live and the World Service on the BBC. Here's Lucas Moura. His run blocked by Holgate. Forward it goes towards Richarlison, and Richarlison had come back from an offside position. Flag raised, free kick Spurs.
It's one of those games where it's very, very obvious as a player who you're picking up. You know who your man is. You look at Davis there, he knows he's got Ndombele. You look at Sissoko, he knows Gomez and him are going to be together. Eriksen, it's going to be him and Delph together. And that whole midfield, it's all going to be about who's going to be intelligent enough to do something really special to break away from their marker, because they all know their jobs. They're cancelling each other out in that midfield.
And if Everton fans said any prayers this Sunday, it'll be, do not let Everton concede the first goal.
Yeah.
Because they've got an appalling record of coming back from being a goal down under Marco Silva. Haven't won any of 24 league games in which they've conceded the first goal. Sissoko forward to Eriksen. Now it's back to Davis and Sanchez. Tottenham looking fairly comfortable in defence, but they've got to worry about the pace, in particular of Walcott down the Everton right.
He's actually beginning to win that one, Davis, now. He's dragging Walcott further and further back. And it's quite clever by Pochettino. What he's done is he's asked Sissoko, Ndombele and Sissoko to maybe cover over in that area a couple of times when Davis goes forward. I think that may be an important area of the pitch as this game goes on.
Sissoko back to Alderweireld, and Alderweireld drives it towards the left flank. Excellent pass, collected by Davis. On to Eriksson, edge of the penalty area. Eriksson pulls it back. Goodness gracious, that was inches away from running through to Dele Alli. Then there was a foul tackle on Davis. Ali collected the ball, but the referee blew his whistle. Free kick.
It's precisely that area I was talking about there, wasn't it? Just down the left-hand side there. And they know they've got an overlap on a few occasions there. And considering there's not a lot of space anywhere else in the field at all, I can see why they're doing it, and they're trying to drag, and they don't think Walcott's going to do the work back there. So manipulating the space, and that time Davis gets into a pretty dangerous area, plays in Eriksson, and Everton have got to think about this, and I think they are already.
Celtic already through to the Scottish League Cup final. Rangers and Hearts are competing this afternoon in the second semi-final, dominated by Rangers. They're 3-0 up. And as the 12th minute of the game passes here at Goodison Park, tremendous applause, deliberately meant because of a tribute to a 12-year-old James Meyer, just 12 years of age, and he died in an accident on a railway line weeks ago. Evertonians recognising the loss.
And they always do.
Ball played forward by the Spurs goalkeeper, headed away comfortably by Everton. It's gone out of play, and it came off a Tottenham body last, so Sidibe's going to take the throw-in. And whereupon Pat Nevin's notes disappear over the edge of the table. Are they rescuable?
Yes.
Well, they are. Except you haven't got the teams anymore.
Yeah, that's the only thing I've lost. I think I know the players.
I think you'll know them.
This time, for a change.
Far better than I'll do. Here's a foul on Richarlison. Free kick to Everton. The need for both of these teams to record a win, almost astronomical.
It's
such expectations.
You're absolutely right, and it started off really quite sharp, but they've kind of sussed each other out a little bit, and it's kind of now gone into a pattern, and it's up to somebody to go and try and break that pattern, do something slightly different. But at the moment, when you're down that area of the league, it's hard to take a chance, isn't it? There's a fear that if you take a chance and you miss out, and you're either the manager or the player that makes a mistake, you're going to get the finger pointed at you.
Everton took a throw in there, Dina, and Dina got it back. He couldn't find Iwobi with the pass, and it's cleared by the Tottenham goalkeeper. Up to the halfway line, headed back by Holgate towards that Everton left flank on the far side of the field, in front of the Tottenham supporters. Either play it goes for a Spurs throw-in. Aurier to take it. And,
okay, there's not actually a huge amount happening in the last 3 or 4 minutes, is there? It really has gone into a kind of a slumber slightly. I mean, some games have those little periods, and you suddenly come out of it, but it's because they've all settled into, they know exactly where each other is going to be. And I'm looking at players like, man, I don't know if you've mentioned Gomez yet, and he was such a big player for them, previously. He's been so quiet in this game. He has hardly had a touch. Very, very good player, but Everton fans know he's good, and he should be trying to get on the ball, but so far Sissoko's kept him quiet.
Here's someone who has been on the ball quite a lot. Davis, that's a good ball to the right hand side. Sidibe up from right fullback. Walcott ahead of him. Sidibe checks inside one challenge, then doesn't get a successful pass through to Walcott. Ali can control it, and it's out of play for a throw into Everton. A quarter of an hour gone here at Goodison Park. Everton 0, Spurs 0. Sidibe to take the throw in. Sidibe throws it to Walcott. Looks suspiciously like a foul throw to me, but I'm not sure the assistant was paying attention.
But once again, Davis certainly wasn't paying attention there. Walcott just runs off him there. Can't allow Walcott to be given that sort of space.
Ali, good ball to Song. Played down the left side. Eriksson went after the ball, but I think he knew he was never going to get there before Holgate, so slightly gave up on it, but he has won a throw-in for his team through Holgate's clearance.
Yeah, you're right. He just wanted to put pressure on Holgate so that he kicked out for the throw-in there. Decent running from Eriksson. I think the work rate's been not bad today. He's not had a massive impact in the game so far, Eriksson, but work rate, well, any Spurs fans that are concerned about that, which we know some of them don't necessarily want him in the team just now, nothing wrong with that today.
I always think the problem with a player like Eriksson or Ozil at Arsenal, we know they're exceptional players, and if their level falls just a little bit, they invite more criticism than perhaps they deserve.
Yeah, and the thing is, in the past with Eriksson, if it's not happening, he'll work his way out of it. You know, the work rate will be there, the kilometres will be put in, and you know he's doing it. So you give him, you know, certainly plenty of leeway for that. Maybe Ozil wasn't necessarily famed for that. Is that subtle enough? So that's the difference between the two. That you can actually do that. You get that from Eriksson.
Sanchez for Spurs plays it to Eriksson on De Moura. Eriksson collects again. Now Son up to the edge of the Everton penalty area. Plays it back. Eriksson again. It ran to him very quickly, and he was hustled by Davis, and Everton make the clearance to the far side of the field, but that pass is going to beat Richarlison and goes out for a Tottenham throw-in.
Looked sluggish, didn't he, when he came to Eriksson? That's the last third. That's where, in times gone past, he's been lightning quick, gets the ball at his feet, gets a shot away. But the ball came to him there, and he just was far too slow in the ball. The ball was taken off him far too quickly and far too easily.
Doesn't Ali look sharper today?
Going forward, yes.
Yeah,
Defensively, I would say no. I think he's towing a caravan and he's trying to get back just now. But going forward, yeah, he's getting into good positions.
Here's Aurier into Sissoko in the centre circle. He taps the pass to the left to Sanchez. Sanchez back to Alderweireld. Remember, Vertonghen is missing through a hamstring problem at the moment. And Lamela. That's a good ball played by Davis into Ali. Ali trying to check away from Delph. Gets the convenient bounce of the ball. Plays it back. And now it's Aurier on the far side of the field. On to Son. Son cutting in towards the penalty. And will we let him go? Son shoots left-footed. Hits a defender. Rebounds. Aurier crosses right-footed from the right. Picked from the air by Pickford.
Yeah, once again there, it's one of those ones where, you know, time's gone past, you wouldn't notice the work that was done by the sitting midfielder. Delph has had two brilliant passages of play where he's tackled in dangerous positions so far in this game.
Right. There was a run there from Gomez, and I thought if he gets past the marker, he'd be fine, but he didn't get past the marker. Lost possession, but it's collected by Sidibe for Everton. And a couple of aggressive challenges on him, but Martin Atkinson, the referee, saw nothing wrong with either of them. The ball is with Ndombele inside the centre circle. Ndombele back to Alderweireld. There might have been a foul tackle there by Richarlison. The referee rightly played the advantage. Tottenham kept the ball. Alderweireld again. Sanchez to his left. Alderweireld's looking further forward. Moura made a run. It was checked, so the pass didn't come. Pass instead shorter to Sanchez. Davis is down the left, not being marked by Walcott. The ball played towards Davis, and Walcott was a mile away, but conveniently for Everton, the pass was overhit, and it's out for a throw-in.
2 minutes into this game, Alan, did we not mention it? There is a massive gap down there, and he keeps on getting into Davis. Now, in actual fact, that ball was played to him, I would say 4 or 5 seconds after it should have been played to him. Play that ball, clip that ball in there. Davis is getting on the left wing, heading towards goal between no one between him and the goal. Everton have to do something about that, because as soon as they, you know, get a good pass in there, and we know Davis can finish as well. He's got a hit on him.
Here's Davis. That's the Everton Davis. Davis plays it towards the left-hand side. Good pass to Dina. Dina onto Iwobi. Iwobi now approaching the Tottenham penalty area. On his right foot, slips it back to Delph. Wide to Gomez. And Gomez plays it back towards the halfway line. Delph again to Iwobi. Dina, the acting captain for Everton, on the far side of the field to Delph, and swept into Mina. Mina's over the halfway line. Mina, good pass forward to Richarlison. Tap back to Gomez. Gomez tried to feed it through to the Everton Davis. But it's cleared by Tottenham over the halfway line. Lucas Moura looks a little bit isolated. Hustles the defender Mina, but not to any great degree. And the ball goes back to Pickford.
You wouldn't be surprised at some point in this game that Moura has to move slightly, and he gets on more centrally, because there's nothing really sticking up there, is there, when it's going up to Moura? And, you know, it's difficult. He's up against two very, very tall defenders, not bad defenders too.
It's full time at Hampden. Ruddy for side.
And goal, an opener for Rangers by Philip Helander, and a double by Alfredo Morelos mean that Rangers have beaten Hearts 3-0 and put Steven Gerrard into his first final as a manager against Celtic, bidding for a 10th successive trophy in a sequence begun by Brendan Rodgers. Rangers 3, Hearts 0.
Speaking of Brendan Rodgers, his team Leicester City won 2-0 at Crystal Palace in our earlier commentary here on 5 Live. Dina, the left back for Everton. up down the left flank. Tackled, barely tackled. Strong challenge, that's all right, as long as it's fair. On it goes to Moura. Moura flicks it in the direction of Son. Anticipated well by Holt. Made the interception and plays it securely back to his goalkeeper, Jason Pickford.
I really like the tactical thing that Pochettino's done. He's moved Sissoko to the left defensive midfield, and Dobelli's gone to the right defensive midfield because he knew there was a danger from Theo Walcott on the right hand side breaking away. Davis is going to let him go a few times, so he said to Sissoko, you play over here and cover it when Davis goes. You know, it's really clever, really intelligent, and that's probably having the biggest effect in this game than anything else at the moment, that technical switch.
I mean, it's quick, the game, but we haven't had a goal chance in 22 minutes.
Yeah. Well, that lack of quality, you know, in that last third has been very noticeable.
Dina in towards Iwobi. Iwobi's a little bit sluggish to react. Tottenham win possession again. Son cutting in from the right flank, playing it back, and here's Ndombele. Ndombele onto Eriksson. Ndombele again. If you're wondering and you're just switching on to 5 Live at the World Service, why haven't I mentioned Harry Kane? He's not playing. Didn't make the journey up from London. We hear he's not feeling well. Here's Ali, just over the halfway line, towards this Tottenham left side. In now to Sissoko. Sissoko looking for Davis again. He's available. Walcott was back there. Walcott gets his head of the ball, but only at the expense of a corner.
How can I ever not see this problem? I'm absolutely startled by it. Now, someone's coming out to the side of the technical area here, but it's become very, very obvious where the problem is for Everton. Well, I say it's become obvious. 23 minutes, it was obvious after 2.
Right, corner's played short by Eriksson to Ali. Back to Eriksson again. Moura takes it up, left edge of the penalty, checks onto his right foot, slips the ball in there, half clear. Met by Son. Back to Sissoko. Sissoko wide to Aurier on the far side. Aurier sweeps across in towards the far post. Pickford was a little slow to react, eventually palmed the ball away and got away with it.
Oh, I'd give him a wee bit more credit than that. I think he's grabbed it down. It was just under the crossbar. It was vicious whip on it as well. I don't think he could take a chance in catching it. Maybe it might have actually injured himself if he went down there slightly, holding his thigh, but he's managed to get the ball away. That's all the keepers want to do.
Yeah, he is walking a little bit awkwardly as he emerges from behind the pillar to our left. Now, Tottenham on the attack again, but I don't think Aurier can reach that pass. No, he can't, not before Dina intercepts and smashes the ball into the crowd on the far side of the field. Everton 0, Spurs 0, 24 minutes gone in the first half here at Goodison Park. Earlier, Crystal Palace 0, Leicester City 2, and it's just finished in the second of the Scottish League Cup semi-finals. Rangers 3, Hearts 0. Celtic and Rangers meet in the final. Alderweireld for Tottenham. A yard short of the halfway line, right of the centre circle. Plays the ball to his left to Sanchez, and Sanchez quickly on to Davis. Davis back to Ali. Davis again, loose pass from the left full-back, playing it to the right full-back. Sidibe for Everton. Now fed forward now by Gomez. Richarlison shoots it, hits the back of Alderweireld, and that successively snuffs out the danger for Tottenham.
Do you think he could have taken that on?
Yes.
That first one. When the ball's come to him and he's taking it back towards the centre back and he's heading out for a shot, he should have taken that on and maybe tried to outrun the defence.
Yeah, that's a foul. Yeah. Mina didn't like the referee's decision, but Martin Atkinson got it absolutely right. It was a foul on Lucas Moura. Mina still has the ball. I hate that, you know. Yeah, right. You've committed a foul. Free kick's been awarded against you, and you're deliberately holding up play. Take him off. Book him the second time.
Yeah, and professional football in the background here staying very, very quiet. Seeing as every single one of us have done it time and time again, trying to do it as subtly as you possibly can to give your team a chance to get back and organised.
It's like standing in front of the ball with a free kick against your team. Anyway, free kick's taken. Davis sweeps the ball in toward the far post. Alderweireld was up there, jumped, didn't make contact, and it's behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, asking for a free kick there. Certainly there wasn't much between it, and if it was a foul, I think it was on the... It was by Alderweireld leading with his arm. I've actually just seen in front of us, we've got the the Everton technical bunch in front of us, right in the row in front of us here, and they've got all their technical gizmos up and running, 4 big laptops up in front of us. But
can you follow what's going on?
No, but I did actually manage to see a replay of that chance there where the ball was played through Richarlison, and yes, he absolutely should have let that run through instead of cutting back with the ball, and that was a big mistake there. I think that would have led to arguably the best chance of the game so far.
Everton fans thought they should have had a free kick. They haven't got one.
Well, it was actually a clash of heads. I don't think it was deliberate in any way at all.
Players continue. Charlison's all right, back on his feet. And here's Sidibe, the Everton right back, tapping the pass back to Delph. 25 yards inside the Spurs half. Played forward to Sidibe, who backheels the ball to where he thought there was a blue shirt. There wasn't. And it's cleared by Tottenham out off Walcott for a throw in to Spurs. Speaking of things I hate, late in the game, your team's leading 1-0 and the ball goes to your goalkeeper. What does he do? If it was, lobbed back to him, no danger at all, he throws himself forward, head to the turf. There's another 30 seconds wasted. Eriksson looking for Son. Important interception by Dina. Back to Pickford, and Pickford clears it first time. Couldn't lift the ball, of course. It bounces out of play on his near side of the field for a throw into Tottenham.
Yeah, it's the first real chance that Son's had to have a run there. Dina had to be sharp, and he was sharp there, but Son, is such a fabulous player, but he's had very little input in the game. Having said that, the reason for that is because Spurs have been going down the left-hand side, and they look very dangerous in that left-hand side. Son, however, will be feeling left out. He'll want to get more involved.
Right. Everton have the ball just over the halfway line. Delph to Tom Davis, the Everton player, and now onto Iwobi. Iwobi's popped up on the right flank for a change, alongside Walcott. Walcott played the pass back to Sidibe. Back it goes to Walcott. Deep cross. Header over the crossbar by Gomez.
And once again, it seems to be involving 2 players all the time. I'd say it's the 3rd time that Walcott's managed to get in behind Davis there. Got to the byline twice. Maybe he's just put a little bit too much in the ball there. Lifted up too high for Iwobi to attack. But constantly, it's either coming down Everton's right or else Spurs left, and those 2 players just are ignoring each other most of the time, and that's where the only openings are.
Reminding listeners to 5 Live, at the conclusion to this commentary, we have coverage of the Grand Prix, the US Grand Prix from Austin. Jenny Guy will be presenting that coverage beginning at 6:30. Considerable build-up to a race, of course, in which Lewis Hamilton can once again win the world title. Here's Sanchez for Spurs, still 0-0. 29 minutes gone here at Goodison Park. Alderweireld looking to pass the ball with his right foot. No, just slipped it to Aurier. There's no Everton player within 25 yards of Davis, the Spurs fullback, and still he's on mark as the ball's floated towards him. Davis had to head it infield. It didn't run to his feet. Then he's tackled by Walcott. Davis went down.
Right, I'll tell you what happened there. Walcott's getting in with his studs showing, and I think he's put his foot on the ball. I don't think he's caught Davis, and because he's showing his studs, the referee's giving a foul. Eventually, we're going another slow motion here. Do you know what? He has gone with his studs. He has got the ball, but it's popped out over the top of the ball and caught Davis after that. Martin Atkinson, A1, top of the class, got it absolutely right.
Free kick to Tottenham is the result. Eriksson to take it,
and he didn't even need VAR. I'm just waiting at your pal, don't worry.
I do.
Oh, checking for red card. Maybe I wasn't reading.
Oh, come on.
That would be pushing it. I don't think
they are checking for a red card.
Do you know what? See, the Everton fans are booing this because they don't know. See if they could see the pictures that we're seeing just now.
Eriksson takes the free kick nevertheless. Well, are they checking or are they not?
No, the check's gone.
Dear. It's desperate for fans inside grounds. They're not given enough information. Now, there's a foul by Eriksson on Richarlison, and Eriksson's been yellow carded.
Yeah, and it's, to be honest, that is a classic. I mean, there's lots of occasions where we've got 2 massive video screens here, and all the fans around here are infuriated And if they could see what I've just seen in front of us, they would say, actually, fair enough, that's worth looking at. That could have been horrible. You know, and I think you got it right. I think it's a yellow, it's a strong yellow. But it's one of those ones, yeah, they had to have a look at that. It's gross. The arrogance of, you know, when the decision makers not to allow the fans to see this is beyond me.
Basically, if you're sitting at home watching on television, you know far more what's going on than if you paid money to sit inside a football ground.
And I would not disagree with you for a second there. And by the way, Alan, we had this conversation the first day it ever happened at Liverpool.
Yeah. 32 minutes gone. Everton 0, Spurs 0. Sidibe to Tom Davis. Tom Davis down the right side. Back to Sidibe. Davis again. Davis being hustled but keeps possession. Gets it back to Delph. Delph into Gomez. Gomez sweeps it to the far side. Dina collects. Dina forward. Early cross in. Richarlison turns, shoots straight at the keeper.
But a shot on target at last. There's not been many of them, particularly from Everton there. But do not feel like a decent little bit of football there, and the ball goes across, goes through Gomez to get it left. A little bit of pressure that they're on there. Decent ball in, he has to do well, but he's not going to get enough power on it when he's doing that sort of turn. Very few players can get that sort of power on it. Straight down the goalkeeper, and we know Gazaniga these days, you need to do something special to beat him these days.
Yeah. Alderweireld looking for Son down the right flank. Son chases after it, gets there before Dina. Dina, though, across quickly, hooks it out of play. Throw into Tottenham. It looked like a push on Eriksen's back by a Iwobi. It's behind for a corner. Just on that red card business. Yeah. You point out the screen, says checking for red card, and the free kick's taken.
No, and then they were looking up at it and said over, check over, and then he took it. You're right. It was seconds, but the players know that that's the case now, so they will now use that. It's over. I can go now. Well, as long as he blows his whistle, that is that.
Eriksen to the corner from the right for Tottenham. Played in towards the near post and headed away. It's goal kick. Must have come off Alderweireld's head. Goal kick to Everton.
Well, enjoyed the last 4 or 5 minutes. It got a little bit livelier. You know, a couple of chances either side. The game's perked up. There was that kind of quiet period for about 7 or 8 minutes where nothing much was happening. But you know, at the moment, you couldn't really argue any side really deserved to be ahead.
No. I think Tottenham have had slightly more possession.
Probably just mostly on that left-hand side and attacking wise, but have they created anything clean with it? Not really.
No threats on goal. Here's Iwobi. Iwobi taps the ball to Gomez on the far side. Back now to Holgate, and Holgate finds Mina. On to Sidibe, the right full-back. Into Delph. Delph anticipated Mura's challenge, beat it, and kept the ball with Everton. Good run by Sidibe, tapping the ball through the legs of Sissoko. Then was he being pulled back there by Ali? Referee allowed play to continue anyway, because the ball ran to Dina. Into Iwobi. Dina again into the penalty. Angles acute. Tries to cross it. Hits the defender. Goes behind for a corner.
Well, that's the first time I think we've seen Dina up on that left-hand side there, breaking forward. I mean, he is brilliant from those areas. We know he's good at free kicks. We know his delivery is very good when he gets down that left-hand side. But the only reason why he's not getting there is because he's against Son, and he is a defender first when he's got Son in his mind. That's the first time he's got up, and he's managed to get a corner from it.
Dina, who scored the winner last Saturday. Unfortunately, it was an own goal. Everton lost the game. Now he takes a corner from the left. 5 Everton players jostling for position. There it goes. Deep corner kick, and it did come off Richarlison's head, I think, but it took away to safety by Lucas Moura. Collected by Eriksen on the far side of the field. Son is running through the middle. Eriksen tried to pick him out. Instead it hit Iwobi, and it's out of play for a throw into Spurs. 10 minutes to half time, 0-0.
I think they might be having a little look off the ball there. Was it Mina maybe who had a little coming together with Dele Alli? So I wouldn't be surprised if there's a little look at that. Yes, the referee is walking over to him, isn't he? Having a word, giving himself time to hear from the side, and he's had enough.
Right. Now he's still listening.
Yeah. I'm just having a look down below once again. Do you know what? Yes, there was a trip. It was totally and utterly undeliberate. Dele Alli wouldn't agree with that. I don't think there was anything in that at all. Miles off the ball.
I love the prospect of VAR. Now I just wish referees would stick fingers in each of their ears and get on with the game. Please, you know, if we're going to have mistakes, we'll have mistakes. I don't want constant interruptions. I don't want fans looking around as if, what's this for?
But as a footballer, I want the right decision.
You're a spoiled sport. 9 minutes to go to half time. Ndombele running forward, not a good pass from him, but it breaks off at Everton body to Davis. Davis crosses low into the penalty area, met there well by Mina. Mina clears it up to Richarlison. Well, he backed into Sanchez, and then he went down as if, I've been fouled, give me a free kick. No, you weren't fouled.
No, you're right, he's backing in, he's looking for it there, he's trying to be strong in the ball. There was a moment of impressiveness just after it, because he did a very good impersonation of a Tasmanian devil there, jumping up and down, almost Basil Fawlty-esque. I don't think he was very happy at that point in time, was he?
I saw an interview with Richarlison to preview this game, and he referred to Everton Spurs as an El Clasico. No.
Not these days.
El Clasico. Not one decent effort and goal so far. 8 minutes to go to half time. Sidibe with a throw in just short of the halfway line. Launches it towards Richarlison, who didn't control it. Half cleared, went to Gomez. I thought Gomez actually pulled the Spurs player down. Plays allowed to continue. Iwobi rushes forward towards the edge of the Tottenham penalty. Crosses in there. Tom Davis was the target. Headed away by Spurs, and the referee gives a free kick to Spurs for a foul by Richarlison.
There's players down all over the place. Is that Gomez down? Richarlison's down. Referee's a bit annoyed with Richarlison just now. And just before that, I'm trying to see, was that Sissoko had gone down? It was a little hand on Sissoko's face. Trying to see, he's not turned around yet, so I can get a hold on his back.
Right, there are two bodies down at the moment. One is Sissoko, he's been down for quite a while. The other one is Gomez. He's down inside the Tottenham penalty area. Both players are receiving treatment.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything massive. I'm watching Gomez, I don't think there's anybody. No, he's just run into. He's got a little bit of a dead leg. He's run into the defender there, so there's no foul there. But I think he is hurt. Funnily enough, Sissoko goes down there, and I have to say it didn't look. It looked like one of those slight breath of wind had kind of caught past him and he'd gone down. But I might be wrong.
No, it could have been a runny nose. There, I mean, goodness gracious, the impact of a runny nose these days.
Well, I'm not going to dive in there now because I want to see a replay first. But to be honest,
listeners on World Service will be wondering what I'm talking about. Anybody who watched the armpit disallowance of a Liverpool goal yesterday by the VAR checking official, what have we come to?
Well,
toenails,
offsides,
broken nails,
offsides.
If a nail breaks off and then blows in the wind, is it still, quote, attached to your body? Are you offside?
There is a
Where
phrase,
am I going with this?
There is a phrase
Stop VAR, or
there
get
is
it
a phrase
right.
I'm desperate to use here, but I don't know if it's quite right, so I'm going to leave it for a minute. But you can't be a little bit
pedantic.
Offside.
A little bit offside. Right. Okay.
You either are or you aren't.
Yes. Anyway, we're okay, I think. Yes, Gomez is back. So is Sissoko. And here is Sissoko. Sissoko back to Alderweireld. A little over 5 minutes left in the first half. We have had a couple of interruptions for, quote, injuries. So there will be time to be added on. And we've had a couple of checks for VAR.
Yeah, but
whether
they
impacted
haven't
in terms of the game, I don't know.
No impact, and it's not slowed things down. And also, it's managed to get that yellow card right, which we've had a couple of looks, and it's got a decision right. So well done, VAR. I think you'll be changing your mind.
No, I'm not. If you have me saying well done, VAR, at any stage this season, you can punch me as well. Right. Here's Son. Left-footed pass, swept towards Davis. Davis has room, faced by Walcott, though. I thought he was caught by Walcott there. Referee was looking, didn't see a free kick. It's cleared by Everton, not that far. Gomez barges into Sissoko. Everton now hit the ball over the halfway line. Well dealt with by Sanchez, heading it to Alderweireld, but he might have headed to Richarlison. Alderweireld looking to play the ball forward. Ali had run into an offside position. Son has switched flanks for the moment. Maybe that's just a momentary thing. Come from the right, more into a central position, which is where I think they should be playing him.
Yeah, I suspected he would want to get more involved in the game, and whether he's been asked to get in there or whether he's just he wants to get involved. He's desperate to be part of this game.
Dina to Iwobi. Dina sprints forward and the pass is returned to him. He tries to cross, he does cross, hits a defender, goes behind for a corner to Everton.
Just for a moment, I see Pickford running towards the centre spot. I think I know it's near the end of the first half, but don't come up for the corner now. It's a bit early in the game for that.
Too early.
He stopped.
Dina will take the corner from the left flank. And I'm sure he will ignore any taunts from the Tottenham fans over his left shoulder. Here he comes, lots of blue shirts to aim for inside the penalty area. Referee looking intently. Ball went a long way, but it went onto an Tottenham right boot, which cleared the ball to safety out of play on the far side for a throw-in. 3 minutes before added time. Before it appears to be a 0-0 scoreline.
Every now and again, you know, if you're commentating, you're at the game, you've got to take your headphones off and listen to the noise, if indeed there is any.
There's not a lot around Goodison
It's
at the moment.
so quiet. It's very rare you get this amount of people anywhere on the planet sitting together, and it's this quiet. Now, this happens in Goodison sometimes, and trust me, in the last 10-15 minutes of this game, it will not be like this, but it's so stunningly quiet at the moment.
Odd. Dina with a throw, and again that looked dubious to me, but it was allowed. Bolts inside the penalty area with Richarlison. Richarlison still going, shoots over the crossbar. Half chance.
Yeah, and to be honest, he's worked hard, hasn't he? You know, and sometimes it might get you quite annoyed because he's on the edge. But we were having a conversation before the game about Dele Alli having to have that little bit of devilment about him. And I think you need that with Richarlison as well. If he's not got that devilment about him, you don't see half the same player.
Goal kick to Tottenham Hotspur. 43 minutes have been played. 0-0 the scoreline. Gazaniga slams it upfield. Good header away by Sidibe. Rando to Tottenham's possession. Helped on by Son to the far side to Aurier. Aurier face back. Oh, good pass by the fullback. Goodness gracious, that was a shot hit with the outside of his right foot by Ndombele, but it was wide of goal.
Caught in two minds there. He thought about playing a little through ball, thought about clipping it over towards the top corner, and decided instead just to hit it aimlessly into the stand. That wasn't his best moment there. He should have actually hit it with his left foot. It was the chance to have a shot there. It's not his strong, but it's only 20 yards out. It's worth a lash now and again, especially with just a minute or so left.
Well, Marco Silva and Maurizio Pochettino both no more than a foot from the touchline. Not entirely pleased, either of them, with the way their team's playing. And the belly does well though. Holds up Tom Davis, and then Davis has pulled him down. It's a free kick. Davis is complaining to the fourth official. What did I do wrong there, sir? Well, complain to the referee if you disagree with the decision.
Well, he's done one
free
thing.
kick.
He's done one thing wrong that almost got him a yellow card there. He's walked off the pitch to have a go. Now, you're not allowed to leave a field of play without permission of the referee or one of the assistants. So, you know, he could have been dug up with that one. Do you know what? He's done nothing wrong. He's absolutely right, isn't he?
So it's a made-up foul.
Yeah,
by the Tottenham player.
Well, no. Well, he's done nothing wrong, but the Tottenham player's played the ball. Then he's followed through, but with his follow-through, he's actually gone and kicked Davis's leg, and he's gone down rolling about. In actual fact, Davis has just planted his foot there.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with that. Shouldn't be a foul.
Ndombele still being treated near side. We've had our 45 minutes. We wait for the fourth official to emerge. Probably has to wait to see how long this stoppage takes.
Do you know,
3 or 4 minutes? Oh, 2 minutes. Don't do me a favour.
2 minutes. I don't know. I think
that's not long enough.
To be fair, I think there's one or two people in here quite happy with that.
I know what you mean, but seriously, you remember the two players that were injured?
Yeah, it's been a bit, but I'm watching the way Ndombele's going on here. I mean, he got injured about half a yard away from the byline there. He was always going to have to go off. I don't know why he just hung about there and just didn't go on with it, move him half a yard and go on with the game.
We're into the minuscule added time at the end of the first half. Tottenham throw in deep inside the Everton half. It's not still in play, surely. It's out of play, and it's going to be an Everton throw-in. Sidibe to take it.
It's a horribly messy end to the half, isn't it? It's just there's not maybe 10 or 15 minutes. There's not been any particularly good passing play. The midfields really haven't had any dominant players in there at all. It's just a little bit of a battle and nothing else. And as I say, battle, another free kick, and Richarlison's looking for it, not getting it again.
I've tried to measure it up. We were together last Sunday at the Newcastle Wolves game. First half, was it worse than this?
Yeah, I can see where you're going there. I think there was a bit more than last week.
I'm not seeing you next Sunday. I don't care if we're having lunch together. I'm not seeing you.
I'm playing you. It's your fault. It's a real shame, this, because you know that there's good, capable players
There's
out
some
there.
good players out there.
But at the moment,
not producing.
There is a real problem with them working together. You know, passing to a player with your own shirt on, working with each other within little groups within the field. It's not been great.
Davis of the Everton variety was giving the ball away. They're giving it back, and it's clipped down the right-hand side. Walcott trying to bring the ball under control. A bit unfortunate. Ran into Sanchez, and it's hit out of play. And the referee's had enough. Boos around Goodison Park. 0-0.
Do you know, to be fair, neither team deserved to score in that game. I'm just saying no team deserves to be ahead. Neither team really deserved to score. There weren't enough, players going overlapping from, say, full-back areas. Yeah, Davis did it quite a few times on the left-hand side, but in midfield in particular, I look at players of the capabilities of Eriksson, of Dele Alli, of Son to some degree, although I don't blame him because the ball's not gone to him, as simple as that. But these are people who should be working together, who have been brilliant together, interlinking with each other in the past. It looks as if they haven't been formally introduced today. And Everton, there is just nothing coming from that midfield area at all. And it's, it's up there with some of the poorest 45 minutes I've seen this season from any teams. And that shows you two teams and two groups of players lacking completely in confidence.
Hands together on my knees. It can only get better. Everton 0, Spurs 0.
Oh, Pat, are you sure? Are you sure you're at Goodison Park? Because it doesn't normally sound like that.
It was so quiet. I'm waiting for the producer to get in my ear and say, can you turn that effects mic up, please? Because you're hearing nothing. I don't know if it was coming through, everywhere, listening, driving your cars, etc. But there was 10 minutes at the end there. And Everton fans, are a bit like that. I've been obviously played here for a while, and coming here for years. They don't turn on their team with boos. They go quiet as if to say, is that it? And I think there's a lot of Everton fans thinking that's not good enough. We deserve better than that. We are used to, over the years, better than that. And it's really, really quite disappointing. Little bits of moments. I'm trying to pick out some positives. Walcott, as I say, going for it, going down the line a couple of times. I've been trying to find out, the left-hand side, saying Davis going, leaving him. But there's no other big stories happening here. They've just cancelled each other out. And there's not many players I'm trying to think anyone, but nobody else is getting over a 5/6 out of 10 than maybe those two players I've mentioned. Everyone else, deadbeat 5 out of 10, nothing more.
Apart from the 2 yellow cards, I haven't made a single note.
Well, I'll tell you what, guys, let me read you some of the messages we've been getting. Let's see if we can find some positivity on 85058 and at 5 Live Sport. Ewan. Worst half of football I've ever witnessed. Two teams really struggling. Goodison is like a library. Actually, lots of people have been getting in touch about Christian Eriksen. Maggie, I do admire Pochettino for keeping faith in his players. I cannot for the life of me understand why he keeps playing Eriksen. Can't wait for Lo Celso to get a game. David, Eriksen should be hauled off at half-time. Get Lo Celso on. Roz and Dombele is class. Tottenham need to build their team around him. I mean, Pat, there's nothing else to talk about. So Christian Eriksen, what's his half-time report?
Right, OK, well, he worked quite hard for the first 15, 20 minutes, but that's, basic, you should do that. But the link-up play, it's as if he's playing with a bunch of guys he doesn't know, or maybe doesn't want to know. But pointing purely at Eriksen, that's harsh, because he's just one of a bunch. He's a lightning rod for it, and he will be the lightning rod for it for the Tottenham fans at the moment. But does that let others off the hook who have added the square root of nothing to it as well? No, it doesn't. So, yeah, no, he's not had a great game. He's not had a great half. But no different from anyone else wearing a white shirt in that midfield area. I'm not saying they're not trying. It's not that. But are they doing anything special? Are they doing anything out of the order? Are they going and hurting themselves to get into dangerous areas? None of that. Absolutely none of that. And yes, Eriksen's one of them, but he's only one of them.
Yeah, understood, Pat. And Alan, thank you very much. We'll be back with the guys for second half commentary at Goodison Park. I wonder if we'll see Giovanni Lo Celso come on at some point for Tottenham Hotspur, as the fans have been asking us this afternoon. Right, we will be hearing from the Leicester City manager, Brendan Rodgers, after the news on 5 Live with Nick Hatfield.
On digital, BBC Sounds, smart speaker and online.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
The British Embassy in France says UK citizens have been involved in a coach crash near Amiens. The vehicle, run by Flixbus, went off the road travelling between Paris and London, injuring 33 people, 4 seriously. Nigel Farage has announced he won't stand in the upcoming general election. The Brexit Party leader says he can better serve the cause by supporting his party's candidates around the country. Here's our political correspondent Jessica Parker.
Political opponents of his will accuse him of running scared, suggest he's not going to run because he thinks he's just not going to win. Perhaps the flip side of that is that rather than Nigel Farage concentrating on one constituency, he's making it pretty clear he's going to try and make Boris Johnson's life pretty difficult if this Leave alliance doesn't happen, and it doesn't look like it will, constantly criticising the deal that Boris Johnson has negotiated.
The Scottish Conservative MP Ross Thompson is to stand down after being accused of sexually assaulting a Labour politician in a Commons bar. The member for Aberdeen South denies doing anything wrong and says it's the hardest decision of his life. Boris Johnson has ruled out granting permission for a second vote on Scottish independence while he's Prime Minister. He says the issue was settled in 2014's vote. Nicola Sturgeon says a block is unsustainable. A man has been arrested on suspicion of murder after another man died when a car hit a pub in Essex. 3 others were injured in the incident in Colchester early this morning. Anti-government protesters are blocking the main roads into the Iraqi capital Baghdad. It's part of demonstrations demanding more jobs, better services and an end to corruption. 250 people have died since the protests started in October. And Airbnb is bringing in strict new rules to stop parties after 5 people were killed in a mass shooting at a house rented through the website in California. It was booked for a small group but turned into a Halloween party.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live. On digital, BBC Sounds, smart speaker and online.
On the roads in Surrey and the M23, in both directions, it's closed and there's queuing traffic due to accident investigation work. That's from Junction 8 for the M25 to 7, the A23. In Buckinghamshire on the M25 clockwise, there's a lane closed due to an accident from 16, that's the M40 turn-off, to 17 Maple Cross. And on the M6 southbound, the slow traffic due to an earlier crash there. That's from 7 Great Bar to Junction 6 Spaghetti Junction. Nick Hatfield, 5 Live Travel.
On BBC One. After hundreds of years, no more oppression, no more darkness.
The child is destined to be important. Tell me where she is, or I will destroy all of this.
There is an organisation that is stealing children.
My friend Roger, he's gone missing. Roger!
There are things that you're better off not understanding.
I'm ready to fight.
One girl will change worlds.
Who is Lyra Balakwa?
Philip Pullman's His Dark Materials. Tonight at 8 on BBC One.
More live Premier League football than anyone else.
5 Live's Premier League Sunday.
With Steve Crossman.
Yeah, good evening. Welcome back to Premier League Sunday. Just watching the pictures from half-time at Goodison Park, and it's just cut to a shot of a young fan asleep, which kind of tells you everything you need to know about the first half. It is Everton 0, Tottenham Hotspur 0. We'll have second half commentary very shortly. Earlier today, it finished Crystal Palace 0, Leicester City 2. Salah Soyuncu with his first Premier League goal for Leicester. Jamie Vardy with his 91st Premier League goal for the club. And more importantly, his 10th of the season. Here's his manager, Brendan Rodgers.
Brendan, well, another terrific away performance. I mean, you must be thrilled with your players' performance over the past 9 days.
Well, probably since I've come in, they've been great. They had to show another side today to the game. I think when you come off the back of a 9-0 and play so well and make history, then of course it's great. But you got to continue with that. And yeah, it was a very, very good win for us. I think everyone knows how tough Crystal Palace are to play against, how defensively strong they are. So you got to be really focused in the game, not give too much away. And I was really pleased with that aspect in terms of our defending. Such a dangerous team on counter-attack. You know, they sit in deep, compact, tight, close the space, and then as soon as they win the ball, they're away. But we didn't allow too many opportunities on the counter-attack. So positionally, the team was good. And when you defend well, it always gives you opportunities to create. And that's fundamentally, you know, important in any good team. So yeah, no, I enjoyed watching the team today, playing with different qualities, and like I said, to keep a clean sheet and win was very important.
Jamie Vardy with a great second goal, but can I talk to you about the first goal, Chagla Soyuncu? I mean, you've showed real faith in him this season, and he seems to be delivering with performance after performance. Was there any doubt that he could follow in the footsteps of Harry Maguire?
Well, no, I think it was very, very tough for him when I came in, because he was probably fourth choice centre half. Harry and Johnny were the stable two, Wes in behind that, and then a lot of the time he wasn't even on the bench. But what I did see, I'd seen a guy in training that wasn't affected by it. He just wanted to improve and get better. And then the game, when I put him in when Johnny was injured against Huddersfield, I thought, wow, he's actually got everything. He's strong, he's powerful, he wants to defend, which is great. He's not rolling about holding his face. He wants to defend, and to play in a big team, you've got to be able to play football, and he can do that as well. So great for him to get the goal. All the players were delighted for him afterwards, and yeah, he's forming a great partnership there with Johnny. 6 points between you and fifth place Arsenal. Do you think the table's starting to take shape now? I know you've got Arsenal next week, but I mean, you're putting down a bit of a marker for those Champions League places. Well, the idea is just to keep accumulating points. Think about our performance. I don't overload the players with pressure, and I ask, or else that can trap them, and then they don't play how they want to play. It's more about trying to be the best that we can be. Thankfully, I've got a really hungry group of players that are very coachable, and they want to get better, and that's the magic formula as a manager and a coach. So yeah, we'll continue to focus on improving and looking to take those performances into the games and hopefully collect more points.
Brendan Rodgers there with George Cummins. Now, after us on 5 Live Premier League Sunday tonight at 6:30, they'll be taking over from the Formula One from the Circuit of the Americas, where Lewis Hamilton can win the F1 driver's title this evening for a 6th time. Coverage from 6:30. The race starts just after 7. We can go there now and join Jenny Gow.
Yes, thank you very much. It's a beautiful day here in Austin, and the fans have packed in their thousands. It's a sellout here at the Circuit of the Americas, and a lot of people have come here to see if Lewis Hamilton can do it, if he can become a 6 times world champion. The Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders are here, the band is here, they're ready to go. The drivers are about to head out on their parade around the circuit to wave at the fans and do a little bit of chatting to them as well. And Jack Nicholls and Jolyon Palmer, it's hard not to get wrapped up in the excitement and the buzz of being here in Austin, because everybody's so excited about the race.
And they are every year, aren't they? It's a wonderful circuit, it's a wonderful venue. For me, it's my favourite overall Grand Prix of the season. The mixture of the track, the city, the fans, the atmosphere, everything together makes it my top pick. And today we could have a championship wrapped up, and I say could, will, I would say. I mean, we're 95% likely for Lewis Hamilton to win his 6th world title today. He's starting in 5th place on the grid, only needs to finish in the top 8 to absolutely guarantee the title. Valtteri Bottas, if he doesn't win the race, then Hamilton's champion. It's looking impossible for it not to go Hamilton's way this afternoon.
I mean, Bottas has done all that he possibly can to keep this championship battle going to Brazil. He locked up pole position yesterday with a pretty good drive as well. Great lap around this Circuit of the Americas to be the fastest driver on the Saturday. And Jolyon, he sets himself up, and he hasn't he, really given himself a chance to win this race.
Yeah, and for that reason, I don't think it is impossible that Hamilton doesn't leave here as champion. 90%. I give it a 90% likelihood. What percentage would you give it?
I thought you said 95.
Yeah, you gave it 95, okay. So you're backtracking immediately. Okay, what are you giving it? I give it a 90, give it a 92. But I think coming into the weekend, I thought basically it's a done deal. I have to say, yesterday, Bottas did exactly what he had to do, take pole position, and Hamilton was only 5th. He had a really slightly off-the-boil qualifying day. He said it was one of his worst qualifyings for a while, and it basically was his worst qualifying for 2 years. So on a track he's always gone well at, he's got a bit of work to do to get on the podium and win the race, but of course he only needs to finish in the top 8 to win the championship.
Well, he's got a smile on his face at the moment, has Lewis Hamilton. He's still wrapped up as if it's a very cold winter's day, and I can assure you, when the sun is shining down on you, it's delightful. A little bit cooler in the shade, but he's just about to get into his car, which is, I don't actually know what the car is, but it's a big old kind of pickup truck that he's getting into. A lovely light dusty blue colour as well. I feel like it would take a miracle for him not to be the world champion at the end of the day for a 6th time. Just very quickly, guys, what does it mean for F1? What does it mean for Lewis and all of the fans if he can get that 6th title?
To be clear, the car he was getting into is one for the driver's parade rather than the one he's going to race. He's not raising a pickup this afternoon. I think for Hamilton,
that would make it not 95%.
Exactly. I think this 6th world title for me is it's a great achievement, but it's kind of that intermediate point. It's the 6th world title. Can he get the 7 is the ultimate question, which is the most in history of Michael Schumacher. Jolyon?
Yep, agreed. This would take him clear in 2nd place, but it's the 7 that's Schumacher's holy grail of the best of all time. That's what he wants. He's going to win this 6th. It's just, if it's not this weekend, it will surely be next. But I think he wants to win the race. He wants to focus on this race alone rather than be conservative, take 8th and take the title.
Absolutely. Well, Valtteri Bottas goes off from pole position next to Sebastian Vettel. Lewis Hamilton starts in 5th place. That's the 3rd row of the grid. And we will see in less than 4 hours' time, will Lewis Hamilton become a 6 times world champion? Jack said it, 95% positive.
Thank you very much, guys. And yeah, you know what? Whilst we're doing percentages, I'd say at the moment there's about a 95% likelihood that this game will not be first on Match of the Day. And if that's the case, then it will definitely be last. 22:30 tonight, by the way, with Mark Chapman, Martin Keown and Jermaine Genius, hoping for better in the second half at Goodison. Pat Nevin and Alan Green.
Well, I spent the whole of half-time on my knees. I don't think it'll make any difference. Tottenham were out quite quickly at the start of the second half. Everton have just emerged. Not sure, because I can't see the near touchline. People are standing up. Whether there are any
doesn't seem to be any changes.
Substitutions, but I don't think there are. No. So these are the two teams. First of all, Everton. Goalkeeper Pickford. Defensive Sidibe, Mina, Holgate and Dina. Then we've got Davis. That's Tom Davis. And Gomez and Delta in their midfield. Then it's Iwobi, Richarlison and Walcott further forward. Spurs goalkeeper as the referee Martin Atkinson blows his whistle to start the second half. Spurs goalkeeper Gazzaniga. Their defence Aurier, Alderweireld, Sanchez and Ben Davis. Then we've got Sissoko and Ndombele. Then Ali, Eriksson, Lucas Moura and Son in whatever order you choose. At the moment, the second half has started with Son through the middle, Lucas Moura down the right, which makes much more sense to me.
Well, we were arguing that right from the start of the game, and 10-15 minutes into it, the ball wasn't sticking with Lucas Moura. He just thought, that's got to happen at some point. Well, that's definitely happened now.
Alderweireld plays it over the halfway line, well controlled though by Holgate. His pass forward to Gomez. Now it's with Del. Suits the ball to the left-hand side, and Iwobi wins the throw in off Aurier. And the second half cannot be as bad as the first.
Well, particularly the last 15-20 minutes of it, you know, there was a period in the middle and the start wasn't very good. Actually, you're right, it's rubbish.
Congratulations. That's what you've got to do. Tell the listeners on 5 Live in the World Service precisely what it's like.
Yeah.
We are their eyes.
And the point is, as a player, you try and think, look, what's the reason for this? There must be a reason. Explain why. And there's a bit of fear involved as well. There's a bit of you don't want to be the one that makes mistakes. There's definitely a lack of confidence with some players, but it doesn't seem to be a structured organisation that you would expect from teams of this quality and this calibre from either side in that first half. Hope and expect better in this second.
The England manager Gareth Southgate is here watching. What has he done wrong? Is he being forced to watch this? Terrible pass by Everton, and they're giving the ball back by Aurier. Tom Davis to Iwobi, back to Gomez. Gomez chips it forward. Dina halfway inside the opposition half was tripped there by Alderweireld, and it's definitely a free kick to Everton.
It gives Dina a chance to play the ball in. It's far too far out to have a shot. However, he's got good delivery, and it's an area that if he can put it between the centre backs and the goalkeeper, the big Holgate and Mina will go and attack the ball.
Now, Lucas Moura immediately walked in front of the ball to prevent Dina taking the free kick. Then he walked away and Son moved in front of the ball.
Do you know how long it takes to learn how to do that, Alan? You practiced that for ages in training, mate.
Oh. Free kick to Everton from this near side of the field. That's their left in the second half. Dina The captain plays it in, headed away by Lucas Moura, straight to Dina. Dina plays it back, and here's the DB, just inside his own half, and under pressure from Son. It's all the way back to someone who will be paid attention to by Gareth Southgate. That's the England goalkeeper, Jason Pickford. Pickford makes a very good clearance, and that's an excellent piece of control by Iwobi. Down the left-hand side, back to Dina goes the pass. Chip forward towards Richarlison, intercepted by Alderweireld, and Spurs have it. Sanchez now plays it back to his goalkeeper. Quickly out to Alderweireld, and on to Aurier. I'm not sure they looked that comfortable doing that, passing it out in the back, Tottenham. But they win a throw-in.
Yeah, they tried it in the first half, didn't they? And I said it was more by luck than judgment they got away with it. But the thing is, we're so used to watching certain teams in the Premier League just now, particularly
Manchester
teams
City,
at the top.
Liverpool.
Yeah, they'll go up there, they'll press you high, and then it livens the game up, and it makes it zippy, it makes it sharp, and also they can pass out from the back. There's not enough players in these two teams here that want to go and hurt themselves to close down, you know, to ask the questions of it. Now, it's happened at the start of the second half here. Everton have closed down, they've got the ball up, they've lifted the fans a wee bit. Do you know what? See, in 10 minutes' time, I want to see them keep on doing that. They've not just fall out of the
They've
habit
got
of
to
doing
make their fans cheer. Dina with a throw-in to Iwobi. Iwobi hustled by Aurier. Aurier clears to Eriksson, and then that's a foul challenge by Delph on Lucas Moura, and it's a free kick to Tottenham, deep inside their own half.
Do you know, the couple of players who would kind of... Delph has continued to do what he's supposed to do, which is destroy in that area and cover areas, and he's done well in those areas.
Long free kick, well dealt with by Mina, and then that wasn't well dealt with by Holgate. He squandered the pass. Lucas Moura takes it up, and has he won a corner? Goal kick. Lucas Moura was absolutely certain that was a corner, but the assistant had a clear view.
Yeah, it was a tight one to call, because it was both feet in with roughly at the same time, but in the fact that Lucas Moura's argued vehemently for a second and a half, I suspect the assistant referee might have got that one right.
And the noise has deflated again.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it's a symbiotic relationship you've got between supporters and players, but sometimes you look and you think, no, one side's letting the other side down, and it's the players that are letting the fans down at the moment. However, we live in hope.
Here's Richarlison. It will be close by. Pass goes to Iwobi, but he can't find Dina. And Enabelli to Dele Alli. Ali sweeps it on to Son. Now Son is quick. Eriksson sprinting through the middle. Son approaching the Everton penalty. Into it. On his left foot. Diving challenge by the defender. Well, Martin Atkinson had a clear view of that.
Well, they'll have a look at it.
It wasn't a free kick.
Well, they'll have a look at it.
Not a penalty kick. I mean, now he's given a free kick to Everton.
Yeah, what kind of tackle was that? He's almost thrown his back at the ball. I mean, that is a bizarre challenge that he's made there. I mean, I think there might be some contact.
I think there was contact ultimately.
And I would suggest, obviously, Son makes the most of it. I think he's thrown his body in there. Do you know what? I have to say, I'd be tempted to give that. Well, I think they're checking it just now.
They're checking it now.
I would be tempted to give that if there is contact. But they would say, is there enough to make him go down like that? No, but that's not the question. Is there contact? It is the most ridiculous. I'm calling it a tackle, but that's the vaguest way. You put a tackle like that in a rugby game, we'd laugh at you. He's throwing his back at the ball.
What I can't understand is why Martin Atkinson was prepared to play on. Because clearly they had to check that.
Yeah, no, that's the rule. You carry on. You check it when the ball's going out of play. They've decided no penalty. That's a tight call. But of course, once again, we have to say it. The referee didn't bother coming over to have a look. But then again, he hadn't made the call. But it's not a clear and totally obvious one. There was some contact. But the thing that's jumping out at me, yes, you'll argue whether it was or wasn't a penalty. I have no idea what Mina was thinking about when he threw his back in there.
What's going on again now? Because, again, he's got his finger to his right ear, Martin Atkinson.
Something's hammed off the ball, clearly. There's a couple of words been exchanged by, I think it was Holgate and maybe Eriksson.
And the crowders saying, you don't know what you're doing.
Well, he may well know what he's doing, but there's no way that we can know that because we've not been told.
So how long was that interruption in terms of the officials? 20 seconds?
I would love
or at
to
least
tell
2
you.
minutes.
And that's another VAR conclusion. That's a different one. So obviously there was something that had been said, off the ball there. But the fans haven't been informed of what's going on here. They have to be informed. We need not start a campaign. This campaign's been going since day one. You need to give the fans information. It must happen. No, hey, it will happen. It's just a question when you lot get around to it.
Well, we've been talking in particular over the last 24 hours about how rugby union uses their replays. Everybody knows what's going on.
May I add, on top of that, you say, there's some clubs haven't got, the big video screens.
Liverpool, Manchester United.
Yes, doesn't matter. What you do is you get the referee with a microphone, like they've got in American football, give you the information. Get on with it.
Well done to our producer. He timed the interruption there at 1 minute 39 seconds. So no doubt we'll only get a minute of added time at the end of the game. We'll see. Lucas Moura. He was fouled, not once but twice. Fouled by Dina initially and then Richarlison.
I think Richarlison knew what he was doing there. I think he's a wee bit naughty with Richarlison. He's made sure he followed through there.
8 minutes gone in the second half, which has continued in the same vein of quality as the first 45 minutes. In other words, there hasn't been any quality.
Well, it's livened up just a slight bit. There's a few tackles been thrown in. That's something.
Leicester beat Crystal Palace 2-0 earlier. Rangers beat Hearts 3-0. There's the ball played in. A very good free kick taken by Eriksson, but it bounced right in front of all of his targets and is cleared to safety in the far side of the field by Tom Davies. He went down as if he got a push to the back, and he wasn't pushed.
I would agree with that. I think the referee's got that one right again. That's a brilliant ball in, isn't it? There's nothing you can do. As a centre-back, as a goalkeeper, you just got to hope that nobody in a blue shirt gets nobody in a white shirt gets a head onto it. Nobody did on that occasion, but fantastic ball in by Eriksson.
Well, it just shows you his talent.
Well, arguably the best pass of the game, apart from one in the first half with the goalkeeper to Walcott.
So here, awful from Spurs, giving the ball away recklessly. And now Richarlison's gone down as if he's been punched in the face, and I didn't see that.
Do you know what?
And if that's play acting again, he's going to be at least booked.
Do you know what he's done, Alan? He's turned and he's just run into the defender who's standing there. Do you know what? You might have got it hard in the face, but it's not a foul. You have turned and ran in. The defender's done nothing wrong there. And whether he was looking for that or not, it doesn't matter. It ain't no foul.
He's clutching his face as if he's been seriously injured. Get a stretcher on and take him off.
Do you know what? He
That's
might have a sore face in that one, but it's him that's run into the defender. So in this occasion, it might be injured. And I see where you're coming from with Richarlison. He's been down 3 or 4 times in this game so far, and I would say at least twice he didn't deserve to be lying on the ground, and he wasn't hurt as badly as he was pretending to be. However, on this occasion, I think there's a fair chance he has gone and hurt himself. But underline, he's hurt himself.
Well, he's leaning forward now, and he'll be back on his feet.
Do you know what the giveaway is, Alan? There's not one Everton player complaining to the referee about it.
Nobody's complaining.
Saying, oh, that's terrible, that's awful. Not a single one of them. By the way, there ain't an Everton fan either.
We're sitting 70 yards away without a monitor, and there's nothing wrong with him.
No, it could be something wrong with him. He could be hurt, but he hurt himself. He ran into a defender.
So he's walking off the field as he has to, and then the game will resume. As if it wasn't punctuated enough by wretched football, now we've got these interruptions. VAR. Richarlison.
I'm more. It's not just Richarlison. There's been 2 or 3 players who've gone down clutching heads. I mean, just a few moments ago, look at Moura went down as well, and there was nothing wrong with him. And it's one of those ones, and it's so often now it's the head, because everybody knows now if it's a head injury, the referee's likely to stop it. And I despise that. If you're not injured and you pretend you are with a head injury, it's the old cry wolf syndrome. It's unacceptable.
It's an abomination of the modern game.
I agree.
Ball is with Spurs. Is Richarlison back on yet?
Yes.
Oh, what a surprise he is. Everton have the ball. It's with Iwobi. Dina to his left. Paul played forward to Dina, and Dina attempted a cross, only put it into the crowd.
Oh, you've been kind. Oh, you have been very kind there.
All right, it was wretched.
Have you actually... I'll let you go to town in this one. That's possibly the worst cross I've seen this season by any player. And considering the quality that Dina's got, that's a... He didn't even come close to getting across in there. As if he just lumped. That looked like defensive play.
No, I think he was confused by the Richarlison injury, which was on his mind, and he forgot about his left foot and how to swing his foot at the ball.
That was dreadful. That was awful. You can see the match of the day. We're talking about maybe not. But
they'll cut that out.
Well, no. Do you know, sometimes if you're doing analysis of the terrible things that happen, and you say, look, yeah, we know we tell you this game's a great game every now and again, but we've got to tell you sometimes it stinks. But and so far,
even with a stinker like this one is, 0-0, and the way it's going, it's going to finish 0-0. When you've got an edited football program, then an edit can make it look semi-decent.
Do you know what? Here's a shout for match of the day tonight. Not only is it not on first, it comes on after yesterday's games. No chance.
I wonder if
it could get better. Come on, stick with us. It could get better. Long throw here,
Dina throws the ball into the Spurs penalty area. It was headed on by Mina, headed clear by Tottenham, and now Tottenham can counter-attack. No, they can't, because Delph cut that out. Delph streaks the ball forward, and out comes Gazzaniga, catches the ball before Richarlison.
And Gazzaniga's annoyed by Richarlison because he goes up to challenge him there, and see, that's one of the rules. I never read the rule, but apparently there is a rule in football that you're not allowed to go nowhere within 5 yards of a goalkeeper. I don't know where that rule came from, but the goalkeepers seem to think it is a rule. Having said that, Gazzaniga, you've got to say he has not put a foot or a hand wrong today. He's not had
nothing to do.
Yeah, I'll grant you that as well. But he looks
a bit different to Anfield. Yes, you still are on Merseyside, son, but you're facing different opposition. Here comes Sissoko, and Sissoko falls over, doesn't get the free kick. Ball cleared forward towards Richarlison. Richarlison, two Spurs defenders back with him, and Richarlison goes down. No flag from the assistant on the far side of the field to draw Mark Atkinson's attention to anything that was wrong.
Dare I say, had it not been Richarlison, he may have considered it more. And the fact that Richarlison has spent a lot of time on the ground in this game so far, annoying the referee, and no, he's not even thinking about that, and neither is the assistant on the far side. They will check it, no doubt.
Yeah. Well, Everton fans, who are amongst the most knowledgeable fans in the country, I'm surprised that they howled for a penalty kick.
I think they were just howling.
Desperation. Ball's back with Jason Pickford. We've got half an hour more to supper here on 5 Live in the World Service to the BBC. 0-0. Everton and Spurs. It will be. Forward to Dina. Dina crosses Richarlison. Saved by the goalkeeper, Gazzaniga. His first meaningful save of the game.
We're finally a game of football might be breaking out here. Great play down the left-hand side there, and the Iwobi linking up, and we've not used the phrase linking up very often in this game, with Dina. Great ball into him, put back. We've got to say, well done Richarlison this time. He gets that power. He's got his back to the goal, manages to pivot, get a little bit of a power on it, gets it in towards the top corner. I mean, in the end, the keeper would have been gutted had he not saved it, because it wasn't a rasping shot, but hey, that was the best moment of the game, I'd say, by some distance.
Indeed. Here's Ali. Ali chips the ball towards Lucas Moura. Moura gets there. Oh, terrible touch from him. Now, Pickford was off his line. You could see, even from this distance, Moura was trying to chip the ball over, but he woefully mishit it. And it was like a pass back to the goalkeeper.
To be fair, you're absolutely right. That's a dreadful miss. And once again, do we need to actually say that Richarlison's on the ground? Because he's there again. One of these times he's going to get filled, and the referee's giving him out now.
Now the goalkeeper went across there. He shouted something at Richarlison. There's no question about that. But it's awful. It really is awful.
But it's livened up at Yard. Moura missed it. You're absolutely right. That's a dreadful miss by Moura. You've got to get that on target there. You have got plenty of time. The keeper's off his line. That's a very, very bad miss. But we get to see little chances. We are getting a slightly better game in the last 5 or so minutes. We might get half an hour of good football now.
Here's Son. Son's beaten 2 players, beats a third, but then runs into a fourth. Pass back by Mina to Pickford. Pickford sweeps the clearance upfield. But Richarlison's very isolated there. Headed away by Alderweireld. Runs to Davis of the blue shirt variety. He finds Iwobi. Iwobi just over the halfway line. Oh, awful from him. Gives it away to Son. Son feeds it through. Here's Ali. Ali edge of the penalty area. Ali shoots Tottenham into the lead. Dele Alli has scored for Spurs, and that was a woeful mistake by Everton.
And how fitting is it in this game that the goal comes from an absolutely awful, beyond awful piece of play by one of the teams, and it's the midfielder. It will be no one near him, under no pressure at all, plenty of blue shots on, and he passes it straight to the opposition. If you pass it back into your own half, you've got to take some care. It's beyond depth there, and it's straight in. I mean, do not give it to players of the quality of Moura and Son. Plays it into Dele Alli, who's had a minimal impact in the game up until now, but he's had a maximum impact on this occasion. Lovely take from him, takes it across the defender into the bottom corner. Good goal. Oh, he said we may have a game of football in the last half an hour. Well, let's hope we have, because the last 3 or 4 minutes have been very good, much better, and it should open the game out now, particularly for the home side.
Evertonians to a man are now thinking, we can't win this game. We can't win this game.
Well, they've got to do something different. Something's got to change. I'm looking down at that bench. You're going to have to, you're looking at Calvert-Lewin's. You see him going to make a difference. You've got to see Sigurdsson will have to come on at some point. But if you're Silva at the moment, you're under big pressure.
Sidibe's brought down. Referee plays the advantage. Everyone's still on the ball. It's with Iwobi up to the edge of the penalty. Iwobi being hustled away towards safety. Plays the pass back to Gomez. Gomez chips it to the left side, overhits it, and it's out of play. And then the referee's waiting.
Yeah, definitely.
Who's going to be booked?
Was it Ndombele? I was trying to see who did it there.
Yeah. I can't remember. I was just following the play.
Yeah.
It will be a yellow, and nothing more severe than a yellow. But Ndombele is booked. It's a third booking of the game.
Yeah, but it has livened up. If you think about it, it started just a few minutes into the half. There's a great ball in by Eriksson from a free kick. There was that Richarlison half chance, where the keeper makes a good save, a really good save there by Gazzaniga. Then you had a brilliant chance by Moura, and then you had the goal. So, considering what we had in the first half, it isn't a classic in comparison.
Everton had a League Cup win in midweek, playing against Watford, but they've lost 5 of the last 6 Premier League games. This would be 6 out of 7. Oh, goodness, that was a risky pass by Pickford. He put Holgate under terrible pressure. Holgate did well just to clear the danger. It's inside the Spurs half. Richarlison comes forward. Richarlison towards the penalty area. Tackled. Ball beaten away. Collected by Dell. Dell plays it to the right side. There's the cross, but it just hits the defender and punches behind for the corner.
Yeah, it's much better now, isn't it? Suddenly it's live there. There's a passion involved with the fans as well. Both sides have obviously as well. Everton need to get behind their team. The fans, they are doing that just now, and it has livened up. But we'll be trying much harder. He's trying to make up for the mistake he made, and it has livened up. It is much better. We are going to start seeing changes now. Finally, we get a game of football to talk about.
But it's the Tottenham fans who are singing. Their team leads 1-0, 25 minutes to go. Corner from the Everton right, played by the left back and captain, Dina, left-footed. Well, it was a poor corner. Gomez trying to make something of it. Gomez can't do it. Awful corner from Dina.
Do you know, we said that, I said it earlier on, I'll hold my hand up for it right now. I think we know what quality Dina's got with his delivery. It's actually been really poor today. There are a number of corner kicks and a number of free kicks as well. It's not been good enough. Miles and miles away from his usual quality.
Everton will make a change very shortly. They have to. Everton 0, Tottenham 1. So there's some total of incidents really. 1 save by the Spurs goalkeeper and 1 goal for Spurs, and 3 yellow cards.
I would give Moura's miss.
Oh yes, of course, because it was so poor.
And then a possibility that the Eriksson cross from the free kick was, well, no one got onto it, but it was a good ball.
Iwobi on to Dina. Dina checks, and then he's being muscled towards this near side of the field. Hands on his back, right in front of Martin Atkinson. Why did he not give a free kick?
Well, he's trying to let the game flow, because that's the one thing that's not happened in this game so far.
Ball's back with Jason Pickford. And Pickford, that's a good clearance from the goalkeeper. First time to the right side towards Sidibe. Sidibe controls it. Into Gomez now. Still short of the halfway line, Gomez. Gomez has been more in evidence in the second half than he was in the first.
Well, I'll tell you what, ball boys that were more involved in the game in the first half than he was.
You're getting brutal.
I know, but it's upsetting.
You're
because
right.
There's better players, and I expect better from players of that quality.
Gomez to Tom Davis. Tom Davis pushed over by Delali. Play continues. Ball played into Walcott. Walcott passes it when he should have shot a goal. Palmed away with the goalkeeper and hit out for a throw-in.
Do you know what?
It's a corner.
You've got to change the tune now. This is getting better now. This is really getting better now. Good play by Davis. He doesn't dive to the ground. He stays in his feet. Amazing what can happen when you stay in your feet. Plays the ball wide. It was a great ball wide to Walcott, who's really just getting into the game now. So, you know, what they're going to do? They're going to take him off, clearly, because he's just getting into the game now. And his pace was dangerous, obviously, there. But Sigurdsson's a good player. You know, he's not had a great season so far, but he sprinted on with some purpose. Let's hope he has an effect in the game.
Right. Corner to Everton. To our left, from the left. Dina takes it. Left-footed, swirls in. Header down inside the 6-yard box. They haven't cleared it yet, Tottenham. But Charlison tries to cross the ball into the 6-yard area again. Gets a rebound off the defender. Now it's gone behind for a corner.
Again, you always get this time and time again when you come to Goodison Park. You'll always get something exciting near the end, you know, about 20 minutes worth or 15 minutes worth or whatever. Well, at least we'll get half an hour's worth this time because of that goal actually happened. Had that goal not happened, I think it would have kind of just, you know, going on and been boring and dull, then finally lifted up. Well, at least we've got half an hour's worth now.
And it'll be brilliant over a 10-minute edit and match of the day.
Yes, it will. And it will start at half-time.
Just to confirm, as we said, Toussaint on, Walcott off. Here's Dina. Hold on, what have we got to hold up for? The referee's talking to Toussaint.
Checking for a penalty.
Well, checking for a penalty.
And I think he's going to give it. Maybe. There was a hand up there, definitely. Oh, that's got to be a penalty. Well, oh my goodness. Some weeks that's a penalty.
Ali.
Some weeks it's not.
Ali's hand was high.
I cannot see how that's not a penalty in the way that they're reading it these days.
It's a penalty.
Yeah, his hand's up in a natural position.
But hold on a second.
It,
if they don't give a penalty now, it's a nonsense. We're still waiting. Yeah. Are they having tea? The people checking?
No, they want to get it right. I'll wait as long as they get this right because it's important. It's pivotal for the game. I don't think the referee wants to give it. Well, they're taking the time in this one.
You know, if he doesn't see it, he doesn't see it. And VAR can correct a clear and obvious error. And there was one. Ali handles the ball.
And his hands were above his head when he handles it. What they're trying to check to see if, did it miss his hand and hit the head? And did it change it? It looks awfully like a penalty kick. I mean, I've seen it maybe 5 or 6 times here. It really does look like it. But, you know, they've got close-ups better than we've got. We're peering forward.
And the hold-up has been
a very, very slow VAR.
At least 2 or 3 minutes.
Very slow.
Ridiculous.
That is an incredibly long time.
This is not what we want in our game.
But if they get it, I'll put up if they get it right, because this is the game. A massive part of this game will pivot in this moment, in this decision. I think the referee's getting a bit fed up waiting. It's not his fault.
We're getting fed up waiting. Still checking penalty. That's what it says on the big screen in the far right-hand corner.
The referee is, by the way, the referee is in the dark, exactly the same as us, exactly the same as the players, exactly the same as all the fans. No idea, and this is an eternity. By the way, Gary, I hope you're timing this one, mate.
It's Anthony Taylor, by the way, who's checking VAR today.
And he's
Wow. Ridiculous.
Right.
Absurd.
That's match of the day. Watch it, guys.
Corner played in towards the near post. How on earth is that not a penalty kick? Played in again by Dina, and Tottenham were lucky to survive that. And we're all lucky actually to survive VAR the way it's being interpreted here in England. I mean, many of us wanting it for so long, and now we see it and we look on in despair.
To be fair, we don't see it. We're seeing a little vision just ahead of us, but it looked very, 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 very like a penalty kick in the modern interpretation of the law. Hand above your head. There's no reason why it should be there. The ball appeared to strike the hand of Dele Alli.
Lo Celso is coming on for Tottenham. And it's Ndombele, isn't it, going off? And what's Dina coming across to this side for? Waiting for further instructions from his manager, Marco Silva. Well, that's a change. Lo Celso on for Ndombele. And it's still 1-0 to Tottenham, when Everton really should have had an opportunity to equalise to the penalty spot. Now, Tottenham trying to counter-attack here. Breaks down. The ball is hooked forward by Mina. A lot of angry Everton fans inside Goodison Park. I don't blame them. And they'll be frustrated. Well, not just to the fact that, the decision was up to a challenge from VAR. They couldn't see anything. They couldn't see a thing. We could look at some pictures in front of us from the Everton technical staff, and it was obvious it was a penalty kick.
Well, it looks it from here. I have to say, I'm really struggling to figure out. But, they'll hopefully explain it to us afterwards why that has not been given.
Right, 2 minutes and 50 seconds for VAR. Added on to the 1 minute and 39 seconds earlier in this half. That's 4.5 by my reckoning. Never mind substitutions.
Yeah, which are, at least...
You're not expecting dinner tonight. Tottenham cleared over the halfway line, near side of the field. And it's well won by Holgate. Hitting it towards the right-hand side. The header on by Richarlison towards Tosin. Headed clear by Spurs Sanchez. They hook it towards Lucas Moura. Headed out of play by Dina, who complains to the assistant. To throw into Spurs.
Do you know, the other thing about Parsley, the game was just getting really good. Oh, by the way, I've seen another angle. Penalty kick, 100%, no mucking about. They've got it wrong.
Right. So, Anthony Taylor, what were you looking at on your VAR screens?
Beyond me. It's absolutely beyond me. I mean, I'm trying really hard to figure out a way. Are they suggesting he was pushed and that made his hand go up, which is unthinkable.
Well, we can look forward to another Premier League statement tonight as to why that wasn't a penalty. I blame it actually on Firmino's armpit. He was involved again here.
It's just
15 minutes to go, plus considerable added time. Spurs lead 1-0. Everton on the attack. Davis to the right side. Sidibe cutting back and then feeds it back. And Gomez chips it forward. Good run into the penalty area by Dina. Dina heads it back but only finds a wide shirt. That's Alderweireld who hooks it out of play. Throw into Everton.
You need to see more of that from Dina. He needs to get down that left-hand side. We know how good he is at doing it. Got into a good position there, and that ball just bounced up far too high from another player going down holding his
I'll tell you what happened there. Gomez played the ball. That if there was a touch on the face of Son, it was harmless. But Son is rolling around. I'm sorry, this isn't good enough.
The oddest thing about it, and whether it's, the game's changed a bit, you could go through games historically and you go through 10 games and nobody at any point would go down holding their face. Whereas every game you watch now in the Premier League, 6-7 times sometimes in a game, somebody will go down holding their face. Has suddenly a lot of punching facings started going on, or is it a piece of utter nonsense where you need to somehow find a way of getting on top of?
Were you born when Liverpool played Leeds in the FA Cup final in 1965?
Just
born. So you won't remember it. I remember it as an absolutely brutal game of football. There were so many hard men on both teams that day, and I never saw any cheating whatsoever.
But it's, again, but we keep on seeing angles of this handball. I'm not saying alleged handball, I'm saying handball. He's not looking, it's not deliberate. There's a number of angles. Oh no, you have no idea how many angles are. They have blown it. They have absolutely blown it.
Well, I would really like to
By the way,
Anthony Taylor an interview and explain why he didn't get that.
Do you know what I'd like? I mean, there'll be some people watching this or listening and maybe see it afterwards. I mean, get in touch with us at 5 Live and please explain why that's not a penalty. I am desperate to know a reason. I mean, weird stuff as well. I have no idea.
Well, Son has mysteriously recovered from the brutal head injury that he suffered 2 minutes ago.
I mean, we've had 6
I tell you what, we're closing in on about 10 minutes of added time here. If they can count. We'll see. Son brings down Gomez. In clatters Aurier. Son's going to be booked.
Well, that's a minimum booking by Son. Absolute minimum booking by Son. That's vile. No need to do that at all. And by the way, Moura's walked away holding his face again. And he's supposed to start running on he's really upset. It's a very, very bad injury I think he may have got here. It's a horrible injury. Oh dear. We're in a bad place.
Well, it's been a horrible game of football.
Do you know that?
Absolutely horrible. So much wrong with it.
Do you know, first of all, Son is very, very upset with what he's seen now. Explaining what's happened. Son makes a tackle. He's gone in and hit him there. Now, it's a deliberate hit and he's wanted to catch him. But it's not Son's hit that's caused this very, very bad injury. It's because he's then gone into the player after it. Son is desperate. Aurier can't watch.
Yeah, Aurier can't watch out either. There are so many people around Gomez at the moment, trying to screen him from the attention of the fans. They're all standing up in this main stand, standing up all around Goodison Park. We cannot tell you what has happened to Gomez, but it looks very, very bad.
Yeah, get stewards around him and everything just now. They're working hard on him at the moment. Yes, they're very, very upset. I mean, Son will not carry on this game. Son cannot cope.
He's been sent off, has he, Son?
Has he been sent off? Well, he's gone off. I don't know if he's been sent off.
Well, he was shown a yellow card. He was shown a yellow card.
I know he's gone off. I don't know if he's been sent off. He can't carry on. He's too upset. Well, if he wasn't sent off, I promise you he has walked off. He's so upset. He knows that he tried to injure the player. It wasn't his actual tackle that injured him, but it was the reaction to his tackle.
He's been shown a red card.
Well, he was originally showed yellow.
And he was unquestionably shown a yellow card.
Yeah.
And now he's been shown a red card for serious foul play.
Do you know what? I think it was. I should have been a red card. I think the referee's finally got it right. It should have been a red card because it was deliberate. He chased back. He was still angry about what he felt beforehand. He's got afterwards, and I'm looking at the referee's going to his pocket. We're seeing a replay here. He's definitely got his yellow card out. I can tell you that 100%. Had he been booked before?
No. He wasn't.
No, it's vile. It's a horrible, horrible challenge. And what it is, his son has knocked him into the... And, Gomez has gone down. And they're still working very, very hard on him.
Utter confusion at Goodison Park. But the primary concern has got to be with Gomez.
That's all. Nothing else. Don't care at the moment.
The rest of it we can deal with later.
So what's happened is, because Son's tackled him, he has then catapulted, as I think is it, into Aurier. And he's catapulted into Aurier, and it's his head that's taken it all, and whether it's knocked him out, whether it's had an effect on, and he's hit maybe on Aurier's hip area. Aurier's nothing got to do with this. Aurier just happened to be coming in there, and is in the end of the challenge. But Aurier's done nothing wrong there, not a thing.
We can only speculate about what went through Martin Atkinson's mind after he showed the yellow card to Son.
I'm seeing another angle here. No, maybe not. Yeah, I don't think anybody really wants to watch that just now. Seems to be calming down a wee bit out there. They've got him onto a stretcher, and he's certainly going to be taken off the field. So the way he was catapulted, he certainly was out of control when he goes down there, Gomez. But because Aurier is coming in at such pace, there's a coming together. So whether, there's a leg, an ankle, if it is that, it's going to be a break, and it's going to, just by the reaction of everybody around it, it's going to be a break.
Yeah. Well,
I know that's a horrible
I
thing
didn't
to say.
see it, so I'm not going to speculate.
Yeah, I would rather it was something like that rather than something serious with his head or whatever.
I asked the question again. Martin Atkinson produced a yellow card for Son, right? Now, there's mass confusion in front of us. Everybody's standing up, so our view of what was happening on the near touch line was obscured. Did the referee subsequently produce a red card on his own volition or at the instigation of VAR?
We don't know. Do you know what? It doesn't matter, because it was one of those ones of it was either a yellow or a red, but being a red, there is no complaint, because it was a deliberate foul tackle. It was incredibly reckless by Son. It was unacceptable what he did there, but he didn't mean to do that, and I don't think it was his contact that caused the actual injury. It was the contact with Aurier, which was totally undeliberate.
Yeah, it's an indication of how serious the injury is to Gomez, that he's not being led down the tunnel at Goodison, he's being led to the exit in the far right-hand corner. That's presumably where there'll be an ambulance to take him to hospital.
Yeah, there's already a kind of trolley there ready for him to take him out. Horrible times.
According to my watch, we've got 7 minutes to go. We've an awful lot longer than that. And I hope nobody's standing up when the fourth official shows precisely how much added time we'll have here at Goodison Park.
Well, I'm going to try this again. I think Sigurdsson is on this time.
Dina plays the free kick towards the Spurs penalty, headed away by Tottenham. Oh, it's a thoroughly unsatisfactory game in almost every consideration.
Yeah, it just got so, there was a little period where it got a bit better there, but there's a lot of players that have thrown themselves to the ground trying to get cheating against other players, and then suddenly just a little bit of petulance from Son, leads indirectly to a horrible injury.
And that came off the back of him going down clutching his head.
Yeah, and he felt, hey, I was going to say we've all been punched in the face. Maybe not everyone has, but if you've played football, you've been hit in the face. And sometimes the red mist comes down, and sometimes you feel, oh, he punched me deliberately or hit me deliberately, when it wasn't. Clearly Son felt it was a deliberate smack in the face, and the red mist was still there. But he didn't mean to do that.
They're on the attack now, Everton. Well, the ball was attempted to be played into the Spurs penalty area. Put clear. There were two substitutions in all that confusion. Sigurdsson came on to replace Gomez, who of course couldn't take any further part in the game, and Calvert-Lewin has replaced Tom Davis. Ball played in, deep toward the far post, and the header over the crossbar by Calvert-Lewin.
Well, I've got plenty of attacking players on the field now, so Everton are going to try and use the strength and the power. They've obviously got the extra man on the field now as well, so that makes a difference for them. They are, well, I was going to say they're running out of time, but have you any idea how much time it is? I haven't got any idea.
No idea.
It could be 10 minutes, maybe more than that.
No, well, I reckon we had at least 4.5 for the bar. We've also had substitutions, and then that felt like 5-6 minutes minimum.
Yeah, minimum. Yeah,
for the injury to Gomez.
You would think 10 minutes would be sensible, minimum.
Anyway, it's definitely 1-0 to Tottenham. And remember, before all that, we had the penalty that wasn't given after it was studied by VAR.
Well, we've had incidents in the second half. We had nothing in the first half. They've had incidents in the second half. One or two of them I'd rather not have seen.
Delph, deep in the Everton half, plays it back to Jordan Pickford, who sweeps the clearance left-footed up towards Tosin. Headed down by Sissoko and played forward by the goal scorer Dele Alli, but that runs harmlessly through to Jordan Pickford. My watch says 41 minutes in the second half, but it's a lot longer than that. On the far side of the field, Richarlison now playing in a wide role. Plays it back. Ball knocked into the penalty area. Allowed to run by Calvert-Lewin, and he surely should have brought that under control. Put out a play by Spurs for a throw on the far side of the field. Foyt's coming on for Tottenham.
Yeah, and Aurier is
coming on.
And I totally understand that. And he's getting good with Everton fans. And, to be honest, I don't know. I need to watch it a few times. I don't want to watch it. But don't know if it was anything deliberate in Aurier, even though it was his collision that caused that horrible injury. I'm pointing towards Son for that more than anyone else, even though he didn't mean to do specifically that. So I think he's very upset just now, Aurier as well.
Martin Atkinson is getting a lot of abuse from the Everton fans at the moment. I'm not sure what role he had in all that. Which card was ultimately shown to Son, why no penalty was given for Everton. VAR is certainly involved. Foyt comes forward, falls over. Is he given a free kick or is it just a throw-in? There's certainly no hurry to take it. Tottenham, it's only a throw-in. Such an unsatisfactory game.
Yeah, it's been an ugly game in a lot of ways. I mean, ugly in the fact that it was awful in the first half. Ugly in the fact that there's been a lot of players throwing themselves to the ground and making most out of it. The ugliness I've seen, one of the worst injuries I've seen in quite a few years. Indeed. Just a few yards in front of us here.
Dele Alli. That wasn't the best pass forward. I mean, the direction was right, but it was wildly overhit, and it's gone out of play for a throw-in to Everton.
And the other ugly thing is the VAR said 2.5 minutes to look at a penalty kick and still blown it.
Yes. How many looks did we need from the screens in front that we could see in front of the Everton technical staff? One penalty kick.
There may be an argument here. I try really hard for people, right? And I'm trying hard here for VAR to any excuse, but I'm struggling. The only one I can give them is the Everton technical people in front of us here have got camera angles they ain't got. And that happens now and again, but it's unusual. It's really unusual. They must have looked at those angles. If they didn't look at those angles, they shouldn't be doing the job.
Alderweireld with a free kick for Spurs. Played towards Lucas Moura. Kicked away by Dina. Only into Tottenham possession again. 12 minutes was the hold-up for the injury, the serious injury.
12 minutes added on, maybe. 12 minutes added.
Oh, 12 minutes in total, including the VAR. And the substitute.
Which is right, which is probably right.
We'll see what they come up with. Sidibe, the right full-back for Everton, into Sigurdsson. And played on to Holgate. Mina's hobbling quite noticeably. Crossed into the penalty area by Dina. Headed away by Spurs. Delph collects. Delph finds Sidibe. Wide to Richarlison. Richarlison crosses from the right. A glancing header clear by Spurs. Dina meets it. Tries to, I think it was a cross rather than a shot. Hit a Spurs defender. Still in play, is it? No, it's out of play, and it's going to be a throw into Everton. 45 minutes, 12 minutes of added time.
Yeah, and it's right. It should be that much. On top of that, just looking for a moment, Artinho gets himself in a great position. They've stretched Tottenham, and you've got to do that when you're getting extra man. You've got to stretch them wide. You've got to play the ball across, but then you've got to get the cross in. And Digne once again hits the first man.
Don't forget the build-up to the US Grand Prix will follow this commentary. Jenny Guy standing by. Austin is the venue. 1-0 to Tottenham. Everton on the attack. Sidibe crosses from the right, too high. Iwobi was an obvious target. Poor cross. Everton collect possession again. The momentum is with Everton. My money would be on an equaliser, but not with a pass forward like that from Holgate. Straight through to the Spurs goalkeeper.
Well, they've got plenty of attack-minded players in there, but the quality of the passing into the box has got to be a lot better from Everton. More often than not, they're hitting the first man. Now, time and again, they've got maybe to the byline, but they've cut it back with too much power. They've not been looking for the players. They've just been vaguely hitting into that sort of area, but it's been the wrong area. So, final ball from Everton, miles away from good enough so far this
Holgate with a header. Eludes Iwobi. Throw in to Lo Celso of Tottenham. He's going to leave it, and he knows he's wasting further time.
It's one of those ones. See, referee, you've got to actually get your card out again now, because that's a stupid amount of time wasting at the moment.
Lucas Moura from the throw-in, back to Falk, who took the throw-in. Now Ali back to Alderweireld, and all the way back to Casaniga, the goalkeeper, who's made one good save. Should have been forced into trying to make another one. An Everton penalty kick. VAR said no penalty. Here's Tosun. Tackled by Alderweireld. Ball breaks out of play, and Tosun's foot touched the ball last. Throw to Sissoko. It's an awful throw-in. Sissoko didn't control it well, and now it's out for an Everton throw-in.
Yeah, they're really finding it hard to get the ball and get it under control and do anything with it just now.
10 minutes to go of added time. I've restarted my stopwatch. 10 minutes to go. Dina waits. And what's going on in the penalty area? Referee's watching. Dina throws in now. Goes a long way. Tottenham had everybody back. Ali cleared on the volley. Met now by Sidibe. Sidibe chips it down the left touchline. Dina controls it. There's an overhead kick from him, but then he's tackled, loses the ball, no foul tackle, and Lo Celso breaks forward. Lo Celso ran into Sidibe, and the ball squirts out of play for a Spurs throw-in.
Yeah, but that's subtlety that you need to break through a defence, and that's all that Tottenham want to do just now. They want to defend. It's exactly the right thing to do in this situation. But so far, Everton haven't looked, since that injury, as if they've had that creativity. They've got good enough players.
Iwobi holds off 2 challenges. Plays it to Delph. Gets it back from Dina. Iwobi chips it towards the far side. Richarlison is there. He's new central striker now. Richarlison tries to hook the cross in. I think it's crossed the goal line. Yes, it has, and it's a goal kick.
Once again, Tom, but that final ball, even it has really been quite poor from Everton, and the fact that they've lifted the pace a little bit now, they've got the extra man, they're getting into decent areas, still the final ball nowhere near good enough. And you've got Tosin in there who can go and attack it. Sigurdsson's coming from deep in that sort of area. Richarlison will come from wild. Calvert-Lewin, they've got plenty of people to aim for. Not even come close to finding anybody in that box yet.
Pat, I really don't want to be saying this, but despite all the drama in the second half, we're still looking at 2 really bad sides. Really bad teams.
They have been bang average, both of them today.
Here's Ali, who scored the only goal of the game so far. Plays it back, goes out of play, and it's going to be a Spurs throw-in.
Alan, that can happen to you when you're down the bottom of the league and, you know, towards the bottom, you're under pressure, and, you know, you don't work as a team, and that's those 2 teams have been like that constantly today. They haven't looked like teams, they've looked like individuals.
Delph clips it to the left-hand side to Dina, who immediately brings the ball under control. Plays the pass forward to Iwobi. Iwobi forced back into his own half. He's being hustled there. Foul tackled, actually. The referee played the advantage, quite rightly so. Tosin's touch back to Sigurdsson. Sigurdsson should have controlled that, didn't. And it's picked up by Lo Celso. He's tackled by Delph. That's a free kick.
Again, Delph's furious about that, but I don't think he's getting any argument there at all. It was definitely a free kick. Give a chance for Spurs to slow things down a little bit again. That's exactly what we'd expect them to do. They are doing that right now.
So, match of the day will be worth watching tonight. Not just because Leicester had a very good win away to Crystal Palace. Not because this was a great game of football. It hasn't been, but there's enough drama that you don't want to miss it. Spurs free kick. Chip forward towards Eriksson, who's run forward too quickly.
Do you see what Pickford did there? He came out and tackled with his left foot, and then his right foot kind of flicked out as if to have a little bit of a
He's reckless.
Kick.
Pickford is reckless on occasion.
Honestly, there was no contact there, but why do that at this point in time?
He's going to take the free kick, the Everton and England goalkeeper. If Gareth Southgate is any nice, he would have headed for his car and headed home before the end of this game. He's been here, having to watch this travesty of a football game. Ball is with Gazzaniga, the Tottenham goalkeeper.
But that's a cross from wide there, and you've got to go and try and find somebody. That's directly into the hands of the goalkeeper there.
We've got about 4 minutes of added time remaining. Tell a lie, it's 6 minutes. No, it's 12 minutes that have been added on. Yep. I don't think I've ever watched a game in which there's been so much added time.
To be honest, for the Everton fans around here, you'd expect to build up in these 12 minutes. You're against 10 men, you're a goal down. You should, build up this big head of steam. Not been able to do it yet. Really haven't been able to do it.
Here's Delph. Delph plays it back to Sidibe. In it goes to Mina. And I think Mina has, quote, regained the injury that has troubled him of late. He's been walking very awkwardly.
Yes.
Holgate, back to Delph. Delph sweeps it towards Sidibe, who'd come up from right full-back, headed clear by Tottenham, only as far as Richarlison. Here's Mina. And Mina tees up the cross, deep cross towards Dina. Dina volleyed in! What an equaliser! Goodness gracious! Fantastic header! The player engulfed by colleagues. I can't tell you who scored that goal. But he met it beautifully.
Well, first of all, the most important thing is the ball that was played out wide was played by Mina. He fell as he played it because he didn't want to play that ball. He didn't want to play that ball because he was injured. And as he fell, it made a good ball. Went out wide, cross command, and it's attacked, and it's a centre forward's header, isn't it?
Tosin. I mean, he was so engulfed immediately by colleagues. I felt like the crowd behind that goal to all that, we're all going to run onto the pitch and embrace him.
Is that the first decent cross they've had in the second half, Everton? They've got into not dangerous areas, but they've got into areas where they can put a cross in there. Finally, from the left-hand side, they put a decent one in and they've scored. They think they can go and win this in the last few minutes now.
4 minutes of added time still remain. It's 1 goal each. We've played 8 minutes of added time so far. Here's Calvert-Lewin. Calvert-Lewin can only divert the ball to Lucas Moore. Lucas Moore running down the near touchline, tackled by Delph. Ball breaks out of play. Throw into Spurs. Well, I'm sure Tottenham thought they had this game won. But no. And probably on reflection, such are the exposed deficiencies of both teams today, I'm not sure either team deserves 3 points.
We've said that quite a few times, and I think it still holds. I really do.
Throw in to Ali. Ali plays it back to Alderweireld. Alderweireld now. Into Sanchez. Sanchez under pressure. Loses the ball. And what's going on here? Has he given a free kick?
Well, he's not, but they want to look at the VAR. He's tried to clip the ball off Sanchez. He was quite slow to move. If Sanchez got the player and not the ball there, that should be a free kick, and you could argue Sanchez should go off. But they'll be checking it, no doubt.
Well, there's no check obvious on the screen.
Yeah, but the ball's going out now.
The ball's going out of play.
Now.
And we are going to have a check.
Do you know what? I think that should be a sending off. Oh, it's a sending off. He's thrown his leg out there. He's not getting near the ball.
Sanchez on Richarlison.
You've got to look at that, surely. You must look at that.
His first touch was absolutely awful.
It was. He was so sluggish with it. He was being chased down. They are checking for the red cards, and you've got to think. But when he didn't get the ball, and if he got the play, you've got to say, because he's through and goal, 1-on-1. No red. Honestly, I'm gone. So no penalty, no red card.
Well, utterly ridiculous.
Well, they must have an angle that shows there's no contact there. But there was no contact with the ball, 100%. I can tell you that.
And he was clean through.
Right, okay.
Everton attack. Sanchez very lucky to be on the field. Ball breaks down. Calvert-Lewin sprints forward. Ball breaks instead to Sigurdsson. Sigurdsson to Sidibe. Sidibe crosses first time. Hit the defender. Goes out of play. Throw in. 2 minutes of added time remaining. Everton having equalised. Now search for a winner. Here's Delph. Delph lost the ball in the direction of Dina. Headed clear by Tottenham again, but they're not doing that well. Delph wins it back. Very well played by Delph. Then he's fouled. The referee awards a free kick when he could have allowed play to continue. The ball with Dina.
Delph's gone down holding his head. No. This is not the time to do that. This is the time to get up and get on with it.
Eriksson is coming on. And Sessegnon, a defender, is coming on. Eriksson in no rush. And now he finally makes his way to the touchline. Ryan Sessegnon is on for Tottenham. Sigurdsson to take the free kick. That's about 35 yards from goal. To the left as Everton attack. Sigurdsson, right-footed, swings the ball into the penalty, glances off the top of the head of one of the Spurs defenders. Sigurdsson collects again. Back to Delph. Delph spreads it to Sidibe in the far side of the field. Sidibe quickly on. Now, Richarlison waits. It's played into Sigurdsson. Sigurdsson shoots when he should have crossed. Rebounds off a defender. Richarlison again. Back it goes now. Delph. All the action, bar Pickford, is inside the Tottenham half. Tottenham hanging on. inside the final minute of added time. Sidibe down the right-hand side. Checks right across first time. Now he lays it back towards Del. Tour from him. Collected by Tottenham. Tottenham can counter-attack here. They've got players.
Well, Mina can't move there. He's gone outside there. He can't chase at all. He's hurting himself every time he goes close to the ball.
Del hobbling back. He's injured as well. Tottenham still have the ball, haven't made the best use of it. Now they've lost possession. And it's clear to Iwobi. He thought about the final whistle there. Martin Atkinson then changed his mind as Everton were counter-attacking. Ball's played back to the Tottenham goalkeeper. There is the final whistle. Ooh. I feel like booing myself, actually, because of the inept standard of the football.
No, the football was generally not good for vast parts of the game. If you go and take a couple of things out, there's 2 goals in there as well. A couple of misses, massive miss by Lucas Moura. Very annoying to watch the things that were done wrong with VAR. And there was one thing definitely done wrong. It should have been a penalty kick. The other one, the possible sending off, we shall find out later about that. Again, I think much of the talk will be with that horrifying injury to Gomez, and it's a real shame that I don't think Son meant him. In fact, he didn't mean to hurt him like that, but he shouldn't have been reckless and attacked him to give away what was a stupid free kick in that situation anyway. It was an ugly game today, an ugly game of football, an unpleasant game of football, and we've said it since half-time